The Street Corner Soapbox. The Street Corner Soapbox with Falso and Willin. Podcast takeover. We're making a killing. Music to nightlife. Debauchery and street news. Serving it hot. We are some street news, movies and mayhem. The craziest guests, words from chaos. Get it off our chest. Rhode Island, worldwide. Dark corners in all places. Speak how we live, radio show, smoking aces. Ladies and gents, for the people we're talking. Take the show on the road, right where you're walking. Yeah.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Street Corner Soapbox Podcast coming to you live.
That's right, boys and girls. Street Corner Soapbox. Now, we all know during this crazy time with the pandemic, businesses are struggling. So we're here to support local businesses, and we need your help to do so also.
That's right. So subscribe to our Patreon, become a member to help support the show, and receive exclusive episodes and bonus content, as well as discounts on merch. That's patreon.com/streetcorner_soapbox2020.
Follow us on our website, streetcornersoapbox.com.
That's right, boys and girls. We are back. Street Corner Soapbox. I'm here with my brother, Lord Willin.
Yo, what's the deal?
What's going on? What's going on?
Chillin', man. Chillin'. Good guest today.
Awesome guest, Louis Lombardi.
Yes, actor extraordinaire, writer, producer, chef, Louis Lombardi. What's up, pal?
What's going on? I love that intro, bro.
Thank you, bro. I
to
appreciate
that
it.
all day. I love that.
Well, I can send it to you if you want. I had to bring.
Hey, that should be a phone ringer. You should put that out as an app.
That's actually a great idea. You might have stumbled upon something there.
Hey, go put that on as an app. That's great as a phone ringer.
If it blows up, I'll give you a percentage.
I'll call you. Your phone will be disconnected. It'll be yours, bro. Sorry, bro. You're like them Hollywood people out in L.A. You'll be like, sorry, I don't know. Who's Louis?
Right? Fucking change my Instagram, fucking new fucking identity.
Hey, I go to your Instagram, you got skinny jeans on, you got a tight tank top, Converse sneakers and shit.
Oh man. Hey Louis, you were recently in Australia. I talked to you, I think it was last week, and I didn't even know, but you said you were like, yo, I'm out in Australia. What was going on out there? Anything you could talk about?
Oh, yeah. I was there for 3 weeks. Dude,
oh, wow.
Let me tell you something. They don't play with the corona stuff, man.
I heard that.
Yeah, you know what? God bless them. Good for them because there's no cases, no one's dying, no one's sick. But once you get there from the plane, you fly into first New Zealand, then you're not allowed to leave the airport. You got to do a bunch of stuff there. Then you get on the next flight to go to Australia, which is Brisbane, where I was, right? And once you get off the plane, like literally the door opens for the plane, the military and the police come, escort you to an area at the airport. They take everybody, 300 passengers, from the fucking airport, and they take them to a hotel, and they make everyone quarantine in a hotel for 24 hours a day for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
You're not allowed to talk to anyone. You can't go out of your hotel room. You can't. They give you box food to eat for 2 weeks. The military patrols the hallway. They patrol the staircases. They patrol everything. So you can't even open your hotel room door for 2 weeks. They come and give you free COVID tests while you're in the room. They come with the military and the. It's the sickest thing I have ever been through. Like, it was incredible. Like, I was like, after a week, you start thinking, wow, how do these guys in lockdown in the shoe do this for 8 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how? Like I was going crazy in my Marriott hotel room eating box food, even though it was just torture. And I'm thinking, I know dudes that have been in jail for 30 years that have been in lockdown, like literally solitary for 8, 10, 12 years straight. And I'm thinking, these motherfuckers are strong.
Oh yeah, dude, that'll break you. But they say right now mental illness and suicide rate is going up during this whole pandemic because some people just can't take it.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, and you're in your house and you can go take a walk and you still can't take it. You know what it is though too. Yeah, man, it's kind of sad because I feel bad for the people that are struggling. With mental stuff even before this. And now, I don't even think it's the part of the lockdown that's getting people. I think it's more the part of the unknown of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that sadness and that nervousness and that anxiety of, okay, when is this going to end? When is it going to end? Even though you can still go out your door, you can still go eat something. The anxiety of worrying about returning to normalcy, I think, is driving people to drink, to suicide, to depression, even more than it was,
And the normalcy might not even happen.
Yeah, the normalcy, hopefully sooner than later.
It's not gonna. I don't think it's going to go back to what we were used to.
I don't know. I mean,
I hope so.
They say with the vaccine would be the determining factor in that, I guess.
Yeah, to see, to see how long it lasts. Does it affect? Does it stay with you?
And then
do you get sick again?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying. Like all airlines are already starting to say, without the vaccine, you can't fly anywhere.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous.
I heard that about they were doing that in another country for bars. You couldn't go out to a restaurant and a bar if you didn't have a vaccine.
Yeah, they said, I think in Europe they're going to come up with these passports, these vaccine-like passports that you have to take with you if you travel to get into certain places.
Yeah, I saw that. I definitely saw that. It's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just nuts, man. I mean, but at some point, there has to, unless the government's trying to, overthrow and kind of change the system to socialism and stuff like that. And as you can see today, the riots are going crazy in New York now.
Yeah. Today?
I didn't see
that. Yeah, it's going ballistic, dude. They're rioting in the streets for the restaurants and stuff, saying you can't do this anymore. We're not going to take it. And I've been saying that for 6 months to my girlfriend and my daughter. I'm like, there's going to be an uprising. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There will be one. It has no choice. You can't just tell people. You know what the worst part is the people that are telling you to shut down. They're still making $150,000 a year that we're paying them.
Yeah.
So why don't you give your salary up? All these politicians, kick it back into the system, and then it's fair. Then you starve, we starve.
Yeah.
Why should we be paying you? And you're telling us to shut down. It's ridiculous.
I agree.
I think the government is becoming too controlling, too manipulating. All these things that they're telling us to do. They're out in restaurants with no mask.
Well, they did that with our governor. They she was at one of those wine and paint things, and people are crucifying her over it. But she was wearing a mask and doing the right thing. But if you're mandating going on a 2-week pause, now it's 3-week pause. You shouldn't be out. That's you don't have to.
You're telling us to stay in, but you're out, fucking getting hammered, drinking wine. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck up, right? Shut the fuck up and do as you do.
Exactly.
People haven't been working since March, or if they're maybe collecting unemployment, that's a very limited amount of money for people in the service industry.
And the worst part is okay. We went without unemployment and help for 4 months already. 5 months it is 4 or 5 months without unemployment when they cut everyone off. Now, how do you not? You're telling people to shut down, okay? But you're also telling people, don't complain. We're not going to give you a nickel.
Yeah.
Wait, so we can't go out and do anything. You're not subsidizing everything. They're showing other countries give full salaries.
Right.
Yeah. 10 other countries, and they're not even giving you $300 a week here. But they want you to shut the fuck up. And you know what the worst part is? Pay your rent, pay your taxes, pay your property taxes, pay all your bills, pay everything while you're locked down.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, definitely.
I bring
it's ridiculous.
I bring it up before about the whole, the lockdown in itself is just like getting to a point where people, like you're saying, are just going to be sick of it. And the suicide and depression too. Like once they stop, what if they stop liquor stores and all that stuff?
Well, it's already happening.
They're not
going to stop liquor stores. That's too big of a business.
Just the depression. Yeah. Just because you're coming off, you can die from coming off alcohol withdrawals. And, what benzos I think is the only.
But here's my crazy theory of what's going on. If you realize that now, they just passed a law in California where if you go bankrupt on your property, the government has first right to buy, not the people anymore. Don't go to auction because governments pass a law where they have first right to buy. So you know what that does, right? Let's bankrupt all the people who own properties, right? Let's make the people who pay rent can't pay rent. The people who owe mortgages won't be able to pay mortgages. And what happens? It defaults to the government, right? Yep. What happens is the central banking system, the central banking system is, they take over the fucking properties and no person owns property anymore. It's government-owned property.
Oh, yeah.
So that means that's the way they can take away the properties by pretending that it's the COVID. So they can say, okay, well, you can't pay your mortgage. Why? Because my renters didn't pay for 6 months, so now I have to foreclose on this property. The government comes in, swoops it up.
Yeah.
Not a person. So the central banking system, again, takes all the properties, and the government will own the properties. But they're already claiming first right to it, not people.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then what happens is it becomes a socialist country. They give you a certain amount. That's what AOC is trying to do. All right, we'll give you a certain amount of money every week to stay home. We don't want $500 a week to stay home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't want that. And that's what they're trying to do. So if they take away the properties, everybody's government subsidized, what do? It goes socialism. And if you can see, the whole party is aiming that way. And some of the stuff they're saying and doing is that. You know? And I think this is just a test of, wait a minute, shut up. You know why? Let's see how many sheeple will follow. If most of society, which half of it is following, correct?
Yeah, no.
They're putting their heads down, getting hit in the back with the stick and going, thank you.
Yeah.
And they're walking in lines, you know, and other people are going, fuck you. We're going to fight this. This is bullshit. So that's why I see, honestly, you could see a revolution coming, both sides crashing, you know?
That might be the best thing.
I can see it. I mean, you know what's going to happen? The people that are politically correct and all this stuff that they change, they want to ban boycott Rudolph and Charlie Brown and the most nonsense stuff.
Cancel culture.
Right, and those are the people I feel that will get crushed because they're not prepared for what it is. They have a good verbiage, they have this PC identity, but the people that they're going against are hardcore people that live in the country, that own guns, that want to be free, that want to not worry about saying every single thing and being offended or being boycotted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just see that. Like I don't really, but what are the truth though? I never voted in my life. I can't stand politics. I think it's all a game.
I agree with you.
It don't matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, whatever you call yourself. The political system is the political system. It's it. It runs by itself, no matter who's president.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, it doesn't matter. And and it's like everybody's so fooled that it's the government. And I think the government is trying to manipulate the people now and to make moves about some of the stuff that's going on. If you look at the big business, the little businesses are dying, and who's thriving?
Oh, yeah, the big ones. Amazon,
the
Walmart.
Yeah, the billionaires. They've increased 700 billion in 8 months.
We got people that are having businesses, mom and pop shops have been open 40, 50 years, and they're shutting down,
That's right.
after a legacy,
The rich are getting richer.
Where are you going? Where are you going? Amazon.
Yeah, right. Amazon's killing it right now.
Oh, yeah. You see trucks they're hiring
everywhere,
people to drive in your personal vehicles that drop off back.
Everywhere, dude.
Right. So that's my belief on the society set.
Yeah.
So I think the reset has to come, and it might have to have a civil war to kind of shake out the sheets, to start figuring out what are we going to do? Are we going to be prisoners like every other, like China or Russia? Or are we going to be a free society like we've been for, I don't know how many years, hundreds of years?
Yeah, I agree. I think things have been serious, and they're probably only going to get more serious. And I think these politicians, they don't care about the people. They only care about their own motivations and the people that they're in bed with. And they violate the Constitution and laws all the time. They bend laws all the time. And the rich get richer, and they feed us crumbs to keep us fucking satisfied, dude. That's right. What they do. And
they try to tell you in a nasty way, just shut up. We own you. Basically, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you something. That Governor Cuomo, how someone hasn't punched him in his mouth the way he talks as a people is so degrading. He's like, you shut up. I'm telling you. Shut up. And he leaves like, well, this guy's watched so many Soprano episodes. You don't think so? When I watch him, I'm like, what is he saying? Like, how is he? These people pay his salaries, and he's like, you shut up. I'll do it more. Like, what are you threatening people? It's almost psychotic the way he talks to people. And then you got the guy Newsom on the West Coast out here who talks to people like I'm smarter than you. Shut up. Nothing's going to happen to me because Pelosi's my aunt. Mentality, it's that arrogance. He doesn't come off as bullyish. He comes off more as arrogant. Like, okay, I'm going to go to Dirty Laundry, eat $900 meals, and you're not going to be able to go anywhere. My winery's going to be open when yours is closed, and ha ha ha, nothing's going to happen to me. Sucking on a toothpick, smirking at people.
I don't
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, it's like, don't these guys know that the money they get paid comes out of our taxes? Like, I don't get it.
They don't care. They have no regard for that.
Mm-hmm.
No regard, and it's pathetic. And that's where I see, out here, they already have 1 million fucking signatures to recall Gavin Newsom. and they only need $500,000 more. That's how bad it is. They said they really die out, but this is going strong because people want him out of office. And I have a feeling I'm surprised some crazy New Yorker hasn't punched fucking Cuomo. You know what I mean? Right? One of these fucking construction workers watching them walk by. One of my cousins.
Shout out to the BX, man. Shout out to the BX.
Well, yeah, right? One of my crazy uncles or cousins going, "Hey, Cuomo, you suck, pop."
Well, Louis, I was going to ask you, too. I mean, you're a native New Yorker, and then now you live out on the West Coast in California. So you know, this COVID thing really has affected both places.
Yeah, man, it's affected everywhere. Not just there, but, I mean, everywhere, man. It's really, I travel a lot, and every time I'm traveling, you can see, like, the massive differences, you know. And like I said, when I went to Australia, and again, I was in Australia doing the Rock TV show. The Rock has a new TV show
really?
called, he's doing the show for NBC about his life story called The Young Rock. And it basically tells his tale, like, of growing up and being a kid and struggling. I mean, you watch his story, and actually I didn't really know half the stuff, and his story's hardcore sad and struggle.
Really?
Yeah, The Rock
that.
is
I didn't realize that either.
I mean, The Rock tells these stories that absolutely puts tears in your eyes. Like he tells the stories about him and his mom couldn't afford Thanksgiving dinners when they were like 16, 15. They would beg to go to people's houses, and they had nothing. And his grandma was arrested, or his mom, and like his story is insane.
Wow.
And the crazy part is, I don't know if you guys follow wrestling, but
his father was a big wrestler, right?
Yeah, pro wrestler.
Big wrestler.
Rocky.
And Rocky, right. And all of his friends and family, right, that took care of him growing up, right, were Andre the Giant, Macho Man, fucking the Samoan brothers. These were his family,
cool.
dude. So when you're watching the show being shot, you're watching these guys playing these famous wrestlers that were like his uncles and his dad's kind of best friend. It's crazy, dude. I am so excited to watch this show called The Young Rock. It's on NBC. And, man, he put me on this show. I did 3 episodes. I played the uncle who owns the pizzeria. And you know what, dude? It was one of the best jobs I've had. And it was great. It was worth the hassle of going to Australia for the week and being in quarantine. Well, the Rock story is amazing, and if when it comes out, if you guys are any kind of wrestling fans or even not, I would watch it. I mean, I'm definitely gonna. I became a fan just watching them shoot it, to be honest. So
that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds definitely a cool story.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I used to be a wrestler when I was a kid. I like wrestling, and I like The Rock, so I'll definitely stay tuned for that. And now that you're on it, even more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. What a stretch! I play the fucking pizza dude from the Bronx.
Every time, every periodically, I'll see something on TV that you're in, and I'm like, "Oh shit, it's Louis!" I'll fucking take a picture or something.
You know what, dude? That's 30 years of movies accumulated of just doing movies. Little ones, big ones, little ones, big ones.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, before you know it, you have movies on cable every night. And people just, I get the weirdest thing is I get people send pictures of snapshots of this movie, of that movie, of videos, and I'm like, that's hysterical, It's like a flashback to my career.
Right? Well, 30 years in the business.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Do you want to get into a little bit of your background? How did you get started into acting? Any inspirations? Your favorite?
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I've been acting since I'm 12. I mean, I have headshots and pictures and everything from. Oh yeah, people think I walked on the set. People have this illusion. I call it the illusion and the disillusion. The illusion that everybody's rich and famous, and the disillusion is that how hard it is and how much you struggle. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing this since I'm 13 years old and 12, maybe younger. And I have headshots and all this shit. So what I was doing as an actor, I never went to school in the Bronx. We never went to. Most of my friends went to like 5th, 6th grade.
Yeah.
We most of us didn't have fathers. We were on the streets. They were all either dead or in jail. So we just, always like just on the streets, So I went to like 5th grade or 6th grade, and I always wanted to be an actor. So I didn't have money to go to film school, which was like $60,000 a year to go to NYU. Yeah, and I didn't really like classrooms, so I never wanted to go to acting school. I always said to myself, I don't like acting classes. I find it to be, like I don't know, just. That's not the way to learn how to act in my eyes. I mean, again, I've been doing this 38 years. I've been in LA for 30. Yeah. And I really always believe that you have to be on set. You have to be in the middle of the trenches, you know. And so what I did was, at that young age, I started auditioning for NYU films. So I would submit to a newspaper called Backstage, and I would send my headshots to every independent film, student film, all these little things that were in Backstage. I would just submit my pitch every day, every week. It would come out Thursday. And what happened was I started getting a lot of these NYU films, which are, you know, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 films. Mm. Like, these kids are rich kids. Their parents are giving them money to make movies. I mean, you're talking about Oliver Stone, Martin Scorsese, all these massive people came out of there, you know, like NYU. Yeah, so I started auditioning, and what happened was I made friends with a lot of these kids, and I started doing his film. You know, so I ended up doing a bunch of NYU films and learned how to act for free, but you're on a real set, right? You're on a real set with real people, traveling places still, and you learn how to make movies for free. So a piece of paper, a degree, means shit if you don't utilize it.
Yeah, the hands-on experience.
Your knowledge, you can learn anything and utilize it in life for free. You could go books, you can go work somewhere and learn. You can learn hands-on, you can learn. You know, that's why when people, I got a degree, and they're doing, you know, they're working like working at a pizzeria. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, so you spent $100,000-$200,000 getting that degree, and you've done nothing with it. I went to NYU for free, and I've done 100 movies.
That's smart. You did it. You found out a way, man. You found out a way through the fact that you couldn't afford to go there, but you said, "Listen, I'm gonna find a way in," and you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically, you know, that was the way I got in, and as a kid, I just kept doing them. So as the years went on, I sent I ended up getting an audition for an independent film. Right, that was just nothing big, just an independent film in the Backstage. So I sent my headshot in. They called me in. And at the time, Mira Savino, you know who Mira Savino is?
Yep.
Well, she was casting this independent little movie. It was nothing. She was nobody. She was a casting person. Her dad put up like $10,000 for her to be an associate producer. She was nobody. She was casting this movie. I went and I auditioned for her, and she loved me, and she put me in this movie called Amongst Friends. And about 2 years after we shot it, and it's funny, there's a story of even crazier, is that she was only supposed to be a co-producer on the movie, and she was casting, so we couldn't find the female lead for the movie. And as it came down to the wire when they were about to shoot, she knew all the lines, right, from auditioning everyone. Mm-hmm. So what happened was she ended up doing the role of the female lead because they couldn't find another actor. So she got in the movie, and about 2 years after we shot this movie, this is 1991, 92, okay? 1993, the movie, we get called, this movie's going to Sundance Film Festival. And we're like, what's the Sundance Film Festival? You know, it wasn't what it was now. It was a film festival with people going. I mean, let me tell you something. The year we were there, Bryan Singer, Robert Rodriguez, Jennifer Lynch. I mean, the filmmakers that before, the year after us was what was his name? Ed Burns. The year before us was Quentin Tarantino, Steven Soderbergh. These are the filmmakers that came out in the late 80s, mid 90s of Sundance.
Wow.
Okay? So our film was 1993. It goes to Sundance. I drive all my buddies get arrested, like 40-something people in the Bronx in 1992. Like 47 people I knew got arrested in the Bronx, right? And I'm sitting there going, wow. You know, it's a show, a neighborhood show. There's nothing. It was almost like COVID. You know, no one was out, no one's around, you know? So we get calls from, like, the producer going, hey, man, we got this film that's going to Sundance. You know, I was like, you know, we had no more money. I had a car I bought. You know, I got like $5,000. You know, the streets were done. There was literally everybody was going to jail. And I was like, fuck. I said, let me go. You know, when I wanted to be an actor, all my street dudes would laugh at me.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, yeah, you want to be an actor? What the fuck is an actor? You know that? I'd be like, fuck you fucking jerk-offs, you know? And I always, and I would take my NYU films and I would go to the social clubs where we used to hang out 24/7 and I would play them on the VHS tapes. And they'd be like, what the fuck is this? I'd be like, it's an NYU film. Oh, what are you doing? Where do you do this? I go, I do it all the time. You know, because I just follow my passion and my love.
Yeah,
and they would laugh, bust balls, you know, not harmful, but just bust balls. You know how people are.
Absolutely.
And I'd be like, okay. And it's kind of funny because now, okay, when I play a cop on Sopranos and a cop on 24 and all my movies I've done, I get calls from all the federal prisons. My grandfather did 30 years. He used to pass me around the phone. He'd be like, Ducky, and call me Ducky in the Bronx. And he'd be like, you're on the TV, you're on. I go, yeah, no, you cocksucker, you just to laugh at me? Fuck you. Fuck you. They'd be like, oh, you know, he didn't mean it, you know. And they're in the prison rec room doing 25, and I'd be like, I'm in Hawaii right now. I'm in fucking, you know, I'm living in Hawaii. I'm living in New York. I'm living in LA. How's that prison cell, you fucking scumbag? Laugh, you know, laughing at me and shit. So anyway, we did this film. The film goes to Sundance. I take the $5,000 I have. Everybody's going to jail. 1993, I get my car. I had a Maxima. I drove it across country and then to L.A. Stood in L.A. for 2 days. Then me and Mira Savino jumped in a car and drove to Sundance. And you know what? That Sundance started my whole career. Thank God I did it because I got an agent. Oliver Stone saw me, put me in Natural Born Killers. Yeah. And Sundance was huge. It blew me up. And since then, I've done, 70, 80 movies. I've done 10 series. We won an Emmy for 24. So again, it's about following your passion, following your dreams. Don't let your friends deter you. Don't let your family deter you. My mother used to tell me, go work construction. I go, fuck you. You go work construction. I want to be an actor. I tell her that to this day. Remember when you wanted me to be a construction worker? I never said that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I tell her that all the time. She fucking hates it. She's like, why do you remember all the negative? It's not negative. You told me to become a construction worker. Now I'm a movie star.
Right?
Words to live by from Louis Lombardi, man.
Follow your dreams.
True inspiration of someone who pursued their passion and became successful. I mean, you're an example of that, 110-fold. And a street kid, too, which is something we relate to. Yeah. I've talked to you about acting in the past, and things are fucked up right now, but you definitely are an inspiration to people like us, too, because we come from similar backgrounds, you know, like in a lot of ways.
Don't listen to your parents. They're not always right.
No, that's another lesson.
Wait. This is how fucked up I am. Don't go to school. Yeah. Don't listen to your parents. and
success story.
Yeah, right. Oh God, I'm gonna be in the cancel culture next.
Oh, like, Jesus Christ. So basically, no, go ahead.
So basically, what I did was, I literally followed my dreams, even though, in these neighborhoods, no one wants to see you. Everybody has comments. Yes. Everybody, when we grow up, everyone's jealous as a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
That's the bottom line. I don't give a fuck. You think these people are your boys and your family. You turn around, they're fucking spitting on you in your back. And, and that's not negative. That's realistic.
Yeah.
When you start learning who's who, then you realize what you got in life. Not everybody's your buddy. Not everybody's trying to help you. Not everybody who smiles in front of your face is cheering behind your back. I dealt with that a lot. The more you become successful, the more people don't like you. And they don't like it. It isn't a personal thing. It's a thing that you've gone out and achieved what other people can't.
They don't like that. It's like they don't like themselves more or less.
Yeah, they hate themselves, so they're going to hate on you. Exactly. It's jealousy. It's envy. It's they don't want to see you do better than them.
And our business is like that, dude. This business I'm in is like that. You could be friends with people 20, 30 years. I've had this where I'm friends with people 30 years and they don't talk to me no more because they see you work more or they see more. Somebody might like you that they want. It's just the weirdest thing ever.
It
and
is.
Like I said, man, I've learned one thing. I've always stood in the Bronx. I've always kind of stood. I had friends. I always had friends. But I always try to stay alone. Like I always did shit alone. Like I go eat alone. I go to the movies alone. I don't mind that. I actually love it. I've been doing it since I'm a kid. I go in and out of my groups, but I'm very comfortable with being alone.
Yeah.
Like I'm very confident. I'm a confident person. I'm very comfortable with sitting here weeks and weeks in my own. That's why when the corona first happened, my girlfriend and daughter were like, yo, the thing is bothering you. I go, because I can sit in my house by myself for weeks. And, I can go to as long as I can go to the store and cook in my house, I can sit here for bet football every game. I bet every football game, so that's what saved me in Australia, the football. I got to watch football 3 days a week and it kind of made the days go by. And I bet every game because I love it, So that's what I grew up doing that. I've always I was always able to be my own person and not have anyone determine my future or what I wanted to do. Yeah. And most people, when start to do shit, and somebody's like, "Fuck that! You're not going to be successful? Why are you doing that? Right or wrong? Most guys that say what we know.
Yeah, absolutely.
What the fuck is that, bro? I mean, the Bronx, bro, everywhere, New York, LA, everywhere. I'm just saying, most people we know, people will shit on your dreams.
Yeah, for sure.
Until your fucking dream becomes a reality, and then you know what they do? Hey, bro, can you help me?
Yes.
Hey, when I was doing this shit, you didn't want no part of me, dude. You laughed at me. You wouldn't give me $1. You wouldn't help me. You wouldn't buy me a slice of pizza. Now that I'm famous, you want me to put your kid in the movie?
Yeah.
You want me to put your friends in the movie? Because I wrote and directed a few movies in the Bronx, right? And when I did these movies, I took people that I thought were my friends and I put them in these movies, right? And guess what, man? Every one of them had a comment, a snide remark. None of them are even actors. Why didn't I get a bigger role? Look at him, he thinks who he is. I put you in a movie, you're kids, and you never even done a fucking thing. Not saying thank you.
Yeah.
Why is my role not bigger? Why am I not more in there? Like, I'm not even joking, bro. Like, some of the people talking shit behind my back. And I was like, wait a second, I put you in a movie. Like, you didn't do anything. Unappreciative people, and I learned that. You know what I learned? And this is going to be terribly sad and might sound negative, but it's realistic. I'd rather hire strangers to come to my set. You know why? Because they shut the fuck up. They know their lines. They hit their marks, and they're not expecting to. Can I come later? Yeah, I had friends call me when I was doing these movies. Now, you're on a movie. Everything's a tight schedule. Everything, you have people there, other people. I was getting calls from dudes going, hey, bro, I'm at the beach. Can I come later to shoot this scene? I'm like, what? What?
Oh, man.
What are you talking about? I got 20 people. I got a location. Oh, bro, that's fucked up, bro. Oh, you're Hollywood now. Hollywood, I gave you a job. You want to be in the movie. Like, I'm not even kidding, bro. Wow. And then they'd be like, oh, yeah, Louis snapped on me, man. He's a fucking ass. Yeah, look, he's a fucking asshole. Yeah, yeah. And then they spin it because they think you show up with your wardrobe, say your line. They don't understand, like, there's a process to making a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I learned that. I did 3 movies, and the people I hired that had nothing, that were friends that I thought I was giving breaks to, were the biggest motherfucking backstabbers who turned around talking shit about me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, dude, not to my face because they're punks, but they talk shit behind your back to other people. And then when I confronted them, they're like, well, I didn't say that. Yeah, you did say that.
And they're in the movie.
Yeah, and they're in the... you tried to put them on.
It's not like you didn't put them on there talking shit.
They're biting the hand that feeds them. They just don't realize that it's not, you walk onto a movie set and now you're a star, dude. Like, even you started off doing small roles and small parts, and you grew from there. Like, that's just the game.
I mean, your fucking profile goes from 12 years old. I mean,
exactly.
Right, and let me tell you something. And you're right, because the biggest thing I get from people, they are so fucking delusional going, yeah, man, Sopranos, is that your big break? It's like, dude, I've been in this business 12 years before I did Sopranos.
Yeah.
I've done 80 movies before I did Sopranos.
Yeah.
You know, the Sopranos helped me? Of course. The 24 helped me? Of course. But it's accumulation of your body of work of years of doing something.
Yes.
I'm not an overnight success. I'm still doing this for 30 years in L.A. and 38 years in general, and I'm still struggling every day to get roles and jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, people have this illusion. Can you put my kid? I get calls from people when I'm making them. I'm doing, hey, can you put my kid in the movie? I go, you know what I tell them now? You know what I say to them? I go, yeah, what do you do for a living? I'm a foreman. I'm a supervisor on this construction. I go, how about this? You give me a job. I don't have to show up. All right? Put me on, and I'll put your kid in the movie. And they're like, I can't do that. I'm like, so I can put your kid in the movie? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll put your kid in the movie. You give me a no-show union job. Fucking $50. Give me $50 an hour not to show up.
Right. You know,
kid can't read.
You know, yeah. Fuck guy wants me to baptize his kid.
Oh, man. You know what, though, Louis? Sometimes you're better off just being by yourself and doing your own thing, man. You know?
Dude, I do it all the time. I'm always with either my girlfriend and my daughter. That's it.
You don't got to rely on anybody that way.
Yeah, you don't got to worry about people backstabbing you. You know, you keep your circle tight, you know?
That's right, dude. And I stay with no one. If you watch my social media, you see me with either my girlfriend or my daughter or not. I'm on a set and there's pictures of me and actors, yes. But you never see me in crowds of people hanging out. That's just not my vibe. It never was. And even now in this business, I try to just keep it short, keep it simple. You know, like I said, man, I've had friends that I started out with 30 years ago that hate me. Even though we live together, we eat together, I fed them, I clothed them. And they're just bitter because if you get a movie, they're so bitter.
Yeah.
And I've had people calling, yeah, dude, it's sad. And, once people realize that is a big part of the business and don't get upset or dejected when people do this to you, then you'll kind of be able to swim upstream in this business. But when you think everyone's your buddy and you get screwed over all the time, people are just jealous if you get a role and this guy doesn't get it and he thinks he's best. It just becomes an envious business. So I love my circle short. I love it tight. I love it small. I sit home a lot. I don't mind doing my little road trips with my daughter and my girlfriend, but otherwise, I'm fine. I'm content with that. I grew up in the streets where, I never really needed a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I've always was able to do what I wanted, very fortunately to say. But, I've come from a great background growing up of people, on the streets. Like, not great, but a kind of a pretty, big background of, you know what I'm saying? Like family and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's like, I just appreciate what I did. I didn't listen to anyone. That's what some of the biggest motivational things. And I just followed my dreams and believe in yourself. That's what I tell young actors when they ask me, how do I start? Number one, don't listen to anyone. Number two, follow your dreams 100 miles an hour. Don't make it a part-time thing. Make it a full-time thing. Yeah. And you'll be successful in whatever you do. I don't care if you're opening a pizzeria. If you show up half the day, you're going to get half the work done.
That's true. Yeah.
You show up 20 hours a day and make everyone smile and happy, guess what? You're going to fucking be successful, right?
Yeah. No, I that's the blueprint, I think, for sure. Without question.
Yeah. And it's no different than any business in the movie business. It really isn't, except, you lead your own destiny. You lead your own future. That's it. And if you quit and give up on everything, nothing will ever happen. And let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I'm doing this show that I created, right? For MGM, with MGM Studios. They're partners with me on this show. It's about my life growing up in the Bronx, okay? Yep. It's crazy. It's about 14-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids, growing up with no dads and just struggling on the streets, and and that's how 46 people got arrested. That's the story. How I put all, because I lived in a lot of places growing up. I lived in before I was 11, I lived in 7 or 8 places in the Bronx, different neighborhoods.
Yep.
And I made friends with every neighborhood. Now, and we know, as you grow up in these neighborhoods, everyone wants to fight each other. Oh, this neighborhood, that neighborhood. Especially in the Bronx, Morris Park wants to fight Country Club. This one wants to fight Pelham Bay. It's everybody wanted to fight each other.
Yeah.
It's just the mentality. In the bars, he's from this area. It's who cares? So, as I grew up, I made friends with every neighborhood. I'm a friendly guy. I like people. So I made friends with all these groups. And when I finally settled in the Country Club area where I grew up, I brought all these people together that I had known. And they all became friends, and they started, everybody just started doing their hustle together. Yeah. But I brought together so many people because I know so many. Even these days, I do it the same in L.A. with Hollywood, with certain people. If they want to make them, I'll help people. I'll be like, oh, you do this, and kind of like I was doing with you, even when I did with you and Mike. Mike the Shock.
Shout out to the Shock. I was going to say we have a mutual friend from the Bronx that grew up with you, Shock, Mike Panini, and then. My friends on the West Coast that know you too. Everyone has always said good things to say about Louis, man, for sure.
Oh, thanks, man. Who are your friends on the West Coast?
Well, your Murta guys, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love those guys.
Yeah,
those guys are great. Love those guys. And see, Mike Panini, I know since we're 12, whatever, some young age. And I actually got his song before I even moved to L.A. in a movie.
Yep. Yeah, he told me that.
I got him to do songs in a movie before I was even in L.A., bro. I called people I knew when I was doing the business. I said, this kid's got great shit. I love Mike. Mike's going to be in more. I love that kid, man.
Man.
I love that
That's
fucking
my dude.
That dude is, but see, like I did with you guys by putting you guys together, I did that on the streets of the Bronx growing up.
Yeah.
I knew everyone. So I'd be like, you here, you go with him, you go with this guy. And unfortunately, it started a massive, enterprise, Yeah. And I smoked a lot of weed growing up, so I didn't trust anyone. I was always a paranoid. Even now, I'm paranoid. Even my girlfriend and daughter like, dude, you're not on the streets. Chill. I don't trust anyone. I'm always my eye's always in the back of my head. Well,
that's the street sense, though. That's your street sense.
Yeah.
Man.
That's what I tell them. I go, you guys don't fucking know. You're from fucking Long Beach, California. Shut the fuck up. I tell my daughter. You're 13 years old. At your age, I was fucking had a trunk full of shit, driving around with machine guns and going through the fucking Bronx, dude. Visiting fucking prisons when I was 14. It's like, are you kidding? Get the fuck out of here. Don't tell me how to be paranoid. So growing up in the Bronx, I would be like, yo, I don't trust these people to my boys. And they'd be like, no, because greed blinded them.
Yeah.
Greed was more about, oh, my God, I'm going to make $50,000 with this guy. I'd be like, yeah, but this guy could give you 50 years. I'd be like, I don't want to, and that's how come I didn't get arrested. I would back out, and they all thought I was crazy. They used to make fun of me. You're paranoid, you weed head. I'd be like, okay. and I started backing away from a lot of these guys and started just trusting anyone. And I'd be like, that's not cool, dude. No, this guy, you don't know him? No, bro. And that's what they used to tell me. So let me tell you something, but this is a true story. When they got pinched, they called me, and they were like, man, you were right, dude. You were fucking right. You were right. That guy was, I go, yeah, dude. But your greed blinded you. Now your greed destroyed your life. Your greed destroyed your life.
Happens all the time.
That's why still I go back to the Bronx. They all fucking just come out and go, yo, bro. You know, they all, and I say it to them. Remember when I told you not to? Yeah. You know, and that was kind of my luck, though. You know, kind of made my future of being paranoid and not trusting everyone. You know, and I ended up getting away because I started isolating myself.
Yeah.
And they would be. Yeah, and they would be like, "Oh, look, he's all paranoid. He's sitting by himself. He's going out alone now."
You'd be pinched.
Yeah, you would have been sitting in the cell too.
That's right. My grandfather did 30 straight years.
No joke.
My grandfather's a fucking legend. Yeah, dude. I mean,
I heard about that. Yeah.
My grandfather's a fucking legend. So when all my buddies went to jail, he looked out for a lot of them. You know, he's a legend in the federal penitentiary. Yeah. Everyone, you know. So again, so that was my fortune. It was like being paranoid or not just trusting a lot of people. So I started backing away, and they started getting greedy, and it changed their lives. Like, I moved on to L.A. They went to federal penitentiary. They all did 20, 25 years. I did 20, 25, 30 years in L.A., and look what I've made something of myself with no education, 5th grade, no acting school, no film school. I've written and directed 5 films. I starred in 60, 70 movies. I've been on 10 series. All self-taught is my point.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't have any of those people deterring my vision or my dreams. And again, the streets kind of bred me for Hollywood because let me tell you something, dude. I don't know if you understand this, but the streets are hard, right?
Yeah.
Right? We get that. You could be killed, arrested. Anything can happen at any time, right? That's the way I grew up. Paranoid as a motherfucker. Every day someone's going to kick in my door. I still think that. And I live in Long Beach. I have that. Always have that feeling like the cops are knocking on my door tomorrow. Oh, it's the weirdest thing. It's like no matter what, that's still embedded in my system. Is that crazy or what?
Not really that crazy.
No, I don't think it's too crazy because when you come up a certain way, you see certain things, it just becomes part of you.
Even dreams. You have fucked up dreams? My dreams get fucked up.
Oh, yeah. I fucked up dreams all the time.
Getting raided and shootouts and shit. Wake up, I don't know what happened.
Exactly, right? So that's just, you know, as you start to get, you know, so like I said, man, you start to get these things up. Wait, there was a point I was making with that story. Fuck. Yeah, but like, you know, so growing up on the streets, you know, it's just a paranoid culture. Oh, anyway, what I was going to say is, you know how hard it is and how paranoid you always are. When I moved to Hollywood, okay, the business was worse than the streets. Everybody fucking
cutthroat.
Everybody fucking each other over, lying, deceiving, no one helping each other, backstabbing. I was like, wow, this is like the drug game. This is like the streets, I said. And what happened was my strong mentality of being dominant on the streets made it easier for me in Hollywood, where most people get here and it crushes them.
Yeah.
Everybody's being told no. Everybody's being backstabbed. And people crumble and they move back.
Yeah.
So wherever they come from, because it's such a tough game. But I was able to survive and thrive in the streets and make everyone, you know, friends with everyone. And then when I moved to LA, I was like, wow, this is a tough business. This is people fucking each other over. And I was able to go into rooms and audition without giving a fuck. Yeah. I'd walk into a room and most people get nervous and I didn't give a fuck who you were. And you know what my mentality became when I first started was, I'm going into a room to read for people. I'm not going into a room to be indicted. I'm not going into a fucking drug deal with 14 guys with guns. I'm going into a fucking room. No, I don't fear any of these people. And that was what escalated me as an actor. Well, I had no fear of going in rooms and auditioning and worrying what people thought about me. You know what I'm saying? I was a very popular kid growing up.
Yeah.
Very popular.
You went in with full confidence.
Yes, and even now, like, I walk around with my sweatpants and my shirts. I don't give a fuck. I go to any party, any event. I'll be on a fucking, before you know it, I'm sitting with the fucking president of this studio, the president of that guy, this guy, you know, with my sweatpants on, because I don't give a fuck. If you don't like me because I have sweatpants on, then guess what? fuck you and I don't like you in general because you're judging people. And that's my mentality, dude. I don't give a fuck. If you don't like me with sweatpants on, you ain't gonna like me with a suit on. You know what I'm saying? You know, and if you do, I don't like you.
Yeah,
because you're judging, and you're not judging the person. Yeah. So that's what LA is. And most people get their dreams. Most people get their dreams crushed here because they're coming in. They're expecting to be, I work out every day. Look how good I look. I'm getting my best. Yeah, but if your mind is not tough, you got nothing.
Yeah.
Mental toughness is essential to success and everything else in life.
Well, plus, a lot of people close to you talking shit, too, doesn't really give you any positive motivation to go forward with it in the tough business that it is to begin with.
Right.
So you already have, no support. So it's like, fuck, you're already going against the grain, and now you're getting there in L.A. and everything, and it's even more than you just collapse.
That's why people fold. Like you said, people fold. They can't handle the business.
Being strong, being from the street, being able to see things before they happen, kind of like, having street sense is definitely a big skill.
But you have thicker skin. Like I can't. Let me tell you something, bro. I started out here with guys that were active from Lee Strasberg, from Long Island. Nice kids, no street dudes, just regular kids who were way more talented than me, who had years of Strasberg, who had years of film school, who had years of training, good-looking guys. I lived in a house with 5 dudes, right? We used to have crazy parties. And let me tell you something. All of these guys were dubbed the next Brad Pitt, the next this, the next that. And I was like this kid that would go, yeah, dude, you'll be all right. You'll do okay. We'll help you out in the future. I swear to God, this is famous lines that we used to say. And we used to have parties. Everyone came to our house, dude. The House of Pain, Leonardo DiCaprio. We had parties this is before everyone was famous. Before everyone was famous, dude. I used to throw sick parties. That porno star, Savannah, died on her way to my going-away party. She crashed her car with the House of Pain, dude. It's in GQ magazine.
Wow.
It was on GQ. It was in the front thing of how she died. I was having a party. I used to have these crazy parties in Santa Monica. I had this house that we all lived in. We had no money. We were chipping in for rent. There was 4 or 5 of us that started out together. She was driving to my house to the party, crashed her car, right? Crashed her car, made a U-turn, went back to her home, and shot herself.
What? Wow, dude, I've never heard this. Wow.
Dude, I have the GQ magazine that tells the whole story, and I read it one day by accident. I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah, she was on her way to the guy from Vic and Eddie from Amongst Friends and went to her house to a party. She crashed. She went back home. Of course, the House of Pain were our buddies. I was in their video on point.
Yes, that I know. I know that.
And she was in the video with me.
Oh, okay. Damn, why did she kill herself, though? Just because she crashed her car?
Couldn't go to the party.
Fucked up her face. Who knows? People have been secure. But she shot herself and died, killed herself. So, anyway, long story short, we used to throw these parties at my house. And all these guys I started out with were like, they were supposed to be the next biggest stars. And I was supposed to be this kid who just came from the Bronx. I was going to do little bit gangster roles, right? Turned out they didn't have the mental toughness to survive in Hollywood. Every single one of them are gone.
Yeah.
Every one of them, dude, with their Strasberg 10-year degrees and every fucking thing else, they had nothing. They all left. And I used to battle them in the house. I'd be like, let's see who's where in 5 years, motherfucker. You ain't got, I used to tell them straight up. I used to go, you ain't got the mentality. You ain't got the mentality to fucking survive in this town. They'd be like, yeah, okay, you'll see, with their little Birkenstocks on and their skinny jeans. And they'd be walking around with this noble, I'm not even exaggerating, with the script under their arm, the 10 script from ICM, looking at me, and I'd get my roles. Dude, I'd get my pages from Oliver Stone or whatever films I did. You got to remember, my first 10 movies were Oliver Stone, John Landis, Tim Burton, Ivan Reitman, and these were the directors I worked with my first year or two out here.
Yeah.
So I got, so I would get my lines or the crumpled paper, smoke weed, do half of them, and go out and party all night. And they'd be like, how do you get all these roles when you're not even focusing on them because you're taking it too serious, I would tell people. Me, I'm taking it as I didn't give a fuck. Like I told you earlier, I walk into rooms, I don't give a fuck what you're going to say about me. I leave. Yeah. You're not going to kill me. You're not going to shoot me. You're not going to beat me up.
Keeping it real.
I'm an auditioner. Yeah, and they had the hard time of adapting in such a tough town of Hollywood. And I didn't. I was my biggest plus of coming from the streets and the background that I grew up in, just surviving every day, in the harshest ways, that when I got to Hollywood, it was like, get the fuck out of my way. I don't give a fuck. You're not going to, it was no threat.
Yeah.
It was no threat. It was more like, okay, I'm just going to win. And that's why I got so many movies. And my boys who had all these degrees fizzled out. They're gone. No one's done anything. And I'm still here 30 years later in Hollywood, still doing the Rock TV show, still doing the biggest project. And even though you struggle a lot, which it is, but stuff still happens. So my point is with the TV show I was telling you about, the one I created about my life in the Bronx, that show I've been pitching for 22 years that I wrote it.
Wow.
No shit.
You hear what I said?
Perseverance.
22 fucking years, dude. And I've never stopped pitching it. Never. And about 2 years ago, MGM, I pitched it to MGM. They loved it. We signed a showrunner. We're creating the pitch, and we're going to go out and try to sell it next month to like FX, Hulu, Amazon, all the people.
Can't wait
but
to see
again,
it. Can't wait
but
to see
again, it's my point of never stopping.
Yeah.
Because no matter you could do 1,000 times. If you stopped 1,001, that could be the door that could set you free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah,
When you stop knocking on doors is when opportunities stop.
That's fucking those are I should get that tattooed on me. That's great. For real.
No, add it to that jingle before your thing. I like that jingle.
I might. Louis, I want now a lot of you've probably seen a lot of, and I've heard this. A lot of people go out to LA and they get caught up in the party scene and they just get destroyed. Have you seen that a lot?
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I was a partier in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And when I got here, I partied for 10, 12, 15 years. Yeah, I partied. But again, you're watching people who are not mentally fit or not mentally strong to survive in this town. And with drugs and alcohol, kind of destroys everyone.
Right,
I don't drink now. Now I don't drink. I don't do any drugs. I don't do anything. This is for a long time already now.
Yeah.
I don't drink. I don't even go out no more, dude. I don't do anything. I don't even take prescription drugs. Like, I don't take aspirin. My daughter makes fun of me. I don't want anything. I don't like any drugs, any fucking thing.
Oh yeah.
Unless you need it for something. And then I don't really like doing anything. You know,
Yeah.
I don't even like alcohol anymore. I don't drink. I just don't.
I hear
I don't want to be around. I don't want to be around drunk people. I mean, I don't mind if I'm out in the town. When you say, "Hey, Louis, let's go for a beer or two." Well, I go absolutely. I'm not like an AA guy or anything. I don't knock anything like. But I'm more of a guy like I don't enjoy drunk people. I you know what I enjoy? Hey, let's go for a pizza and a calzone.
Hell yeah,
Let's fucking eat. You know what I'm saying? I love that. That to me is everything. Yo, bro, let's go find a place and eat everything. You know, I'd rather be fucking chubby and happy than fucking drunk and angry and hungover the next day. You know?
Yes, yeah, I hear you, bro.
But I did see. I absolutely saw massive people party their way out of Hollywood.
Yeah,
You know,
I've
getting
heard that.
drunk, getting high. Oh man, like I said, the first 15 years out here, I did, and I would watch these people, and I'd be like, "Yo, man, you should stop drinking or doing blow or whatever, because you're about to crumble."
Yeah.
And they have, and they did, and I know 10, 20 people personally that have fucked up their lives, like personally, like buddies, friends that I was tight with, that have destroyed their lives with alcohol and drugs in this town, and they have gone back to a shell of a person. And
Crazy.
and I don't talk to anybody really that much anymore. Not I mean, it's because I don't want. My life is my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's all I give a fuck about. You know,
doubt.
I don't care about people anymore. Like about going, what do you do? You're on drugs. Hey, man, if you're on drugs and you're 40, 50 years old, guess what? You know better, right?
Yeah.
If I got to tell you don't do drugs at 50, you're a fucking asshole. You need a battle. Am I right or wrong?
No,
I'm not your daddy.
you're right
I'm
1,000,000% on that, bro.
I'm not your daddy. I'm not your fucking lover. I'm your fucking friend who I don't want to be around drugs and shit. You know, I got my daughter to take care of, and that's what matters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not guiding anyone anymore. That's when, like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, don't you have compassion?" Absolutely not. I mean, do I have compassion of someone? Well, no. I mean. If you're doing drugs at 40 years old, how do you have compassion for that person?
Yeah,
you should know better. You know, you should know better. And I don't want to be around you if you're doing drugs at 40 years old. Correct?
Yeah. Some people just don't learn. They I don't know. Maybe they never learn.
I don't think
they never learn,
good
dude.
40, I don't think so.
No, I mean.
No, you know, I can see if you're 17, 20, 25, then you start to better get out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 30. If you're still doing drugs at 30, you're still hanging out in bars, sniffing coke, and doing it. Your life is going to be that.
Yeah.
Show me your friends. I'll show you your future.
Oh,
right?
Wow. Yeah, man. That's another great quote. Louis, you're full of quotes today, bro.
Oh, man, I got them all, dude. I got them all.
Louis, let's
You
talk.
guys understand?
Yeah. Louis, let's talk about one of your breakthroughs was being on the remake of Fantasy Island. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, my God. That was my first TV show. Well, when I first got here, I did, like, so many movies back to back to back to back for like 8 years, right? And I couldn't get a TV show forever. Okay? It was so hard, being on the TV. Like, I couldn't get a job. So one day, the producers called me up, Barry Sonnenfeld. It was Barry Sonnenfeld who did the show. You know who that is?
I don't know.
He did the Addams Family movies. He did the Will Smith movies.
Okay. Yeah.
The biggest guy, biggest director, producer in Hollywood. So he's like, they're remaking this show, Fantasy Island. They want you to come in and audition for the tattoo character.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This is really crazy. I went in. The fucking dude loved me. And he partnered me up with Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange and Caligula. You know Malcolm McDowell is?
Of course, yep.
And me and him became partners on that TV show. And I moved to Hawaii in 1998 for a year, lived in Hawaii, shot the show, And again, it was a massive experience. I'm getting paid, 30 years old I was. I was getting paid a ton of money to live in Hawaii, to shoot a show with, beautiful girls, beautiful guys, everybody just on an island shooting, on a tropical island. And it turned
Hawaii
out
for a year.
Yeah, I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
That sounds like the dream.
Hey, wait, want to hear the funny part? That's when I used to get the prison phone calls. Where are you? I'm in Hawaii, bitches. Where are you? I'm in Lewisburg. I'm in Otisville. I'm in fucking. I'd be like, how's that? Remember when you laughed at me, you cocksuckers? Who's laughing now?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I did, though. That's when I used to get those calls, and I would rip into those dudes, and they'd be going, oh, here he goes again.
Never let him live it down.
So I got to move to Hawaii, shoot that show, and that show, it was kind of funny because during that period, right, this is a small world. I did a movie called Suicide King.
Yes.
A movie
yes.
I did. All right, well, I did that movie for nothing. The director didn't want me in the movie. He was supposed to be a star of it. I was supposed to be one of the stars of the movie, the Brad Garrett role. The director didn't want me. The writer-producer was my buddy. Anyway, long story short, they cut me out of it. The writer-producer calls me, and he's a friend of mine. He's like, Louis, would you just be in the movie one day with Dennis Leary? You're in the car. You have no lines. There's on these monologues, blah, 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 blah. Okay? I go, sure, I'll do it for you. I do one day on this movie. This is why you never fucking think anything small. Now, I told you this. I always say things. If you're passionate, you're confident, show the fuck up 100 miles an hour. This is how my career kind of launched. I did this movie for one day for $500 with Dennis Leary. Dennis Leary gets to the set, tells the director gives him 5 pages of lines, a monologue. He goes, I'm not saying this. He goes, this is ridiculous. There's so many stuff. He goes, me and this guy, didn't even know Leary, nicest guy ever. Because me and this guy are just going to say what we want. You're going to shoot it, and we're going to do this. I was like, wow.
I love it.
And I kind of got, listen, 12 hours of driving in that car, right? We improvised. Every single word in that movie is improvised. I was supposed to have no lines, one scene. Turned out, when we got done with it, the fucking company who made the movie loved me and Leary, right? And wrote a movie for us specifically after that, and I ended up getting in 9 scenes in that movie. If you watch the movie, they took the shit I shot in the car and they extended it throughout the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that means I had no lines one day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy, man. That's
and it's all improv.
Wow.
All improvised.
That's legendary.
Right? So listen to this. So Georgianne Walken is Christopher Walken's husband.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I know she is, but I didn't know that.
Well, she's Christopher's husband, our wife, Georgianne.
Yeah.
She cast Sopranos. She cast Entourage.
Yep.
She cast everything. So she saw the movie because Christopher was in the movie. She saw the movie, okay, and calls me up and is like, "Hey, Louis, we're doing a show called Sopranos. I love you in this Suicide King. Can you come in?" And I was like, "Sure." So I go in. I audition for the first season of Sopranos now for the big pussy role.
Yep.
Okay, I leave, and the next day, or within a week, I got Fantasy Island.
Wow.
Okay, so it pulled me out of the loop because I wrote and directed a movie as well that was blowing up at the time. A half-hour movie. Peter Green was in it. Mike Starr, Jimmy Matteo, fucking all my boys are in this movie. I shot it. Took place in Roxbury. I shot all the nightclub, the Roxbury.
Yep.
One night, New Year's Eve, called The Boss. Dude, crazy. I had Tabitha Stevens in it. I had fucking Peter Green. I had crazy shit. It was a crazy short film I did. Anyway, long story short, the movie started blowing up. I got called to direct stuff. About a week or two later, Georgianne brought me in. I auditioned for Sopranos, and then about a week after that, I got Fantasy Island. So what it did was it pulled me out of L.A. and brought me to Hawaii, or else I'd be directing. That's how much hype I got from the short film I did. Yeah, short film was real, dude. Like gritty porno stars getting like having sex at the beginning, guys fucking killing each other. Like it was a short film, took place a half hour, all one night, New Year's Eve in one location. Like I made this crazy film with all my buddies.
Is that available anywhere to watch online?
No, but I think I could Dropbox you a link.
If you could send that to me, that'd be amazing. Yeah. So anyway, I got Fantasy Island. Georgianne knew I was gone. Okay, so I missed out on the first season of Sopranos, which probably was lucky for me. Okay, so I go to Hawaii, I shoot the show gets canceled. Now I'm like, wow, man, that's fucked up. I'm living this life in Hawaii, it gets canceled. I was making good money, but I pack up Hawaii. It was Christmas time, and I go back to New York to visit my mom. Right, this is before I had my daughter. So I go back to New York to visit my mom for Christmas. Georgianne walking goes, my agent goes, yeah, Louis in New York, because they were friends. And she's like, Louis in New York, we're casting the second season. Can you have him come in today? Dude, I was there 2 days from Hawaii. Yep.
Being canceled show. You feel miserable. You're like, fuck, this sucks. I'm in New York. Georgianne goes, come on in. I go, today? She goes, yeah, come right in. I go in there, dude, no bullshit. I know Gandolfini for years.
Really?
Like before Sopranos. I know him since yeah, he came to the screening of that movie I did, the short film. Like, he was a buddy of mine. He was going to be in the next movie I directed. This is like 94, 95.
Wow.
Before Sopranos. We used to hang out, me and Jimmy. So Georgianne's like, can you have him come in? Because she loved me in the movie. She was a big fan of mine. I show up to the casting of Sopranos. I go in. It's Jimmy, Georgianne, David Chase, and 2 other people that worked on Fantasy Island. It was insane. I go in the room, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is right off Fantasy. So I go, Jimmy's like, I'm going to read with you, Louis. I was like, what? This guy's like the biggest star in the world now. I remember the first season of Sopranos aired.
Yeah.
And it was massive. And I'm in the room with them, and I read one scene. I had like 3 or 4 scenes, and I read one scene as a cop, and Jimmy's like, okay, you're done. After the first scene, I go, no, there's 3 more scenes. He goes, no, you're not reading it. I'm like, oh, my God, I just got canceled show. I'm getting booted out of the room by Jimmy. Oh, my God, life can't be any worse, right? So I leave the building. I go downstairs, right? I literally get in the car. My cousin drove me. I get a phone call within 10 minutes that says, you're on The Sopranos.
Wow. So you thought you were getting canned, and instead you were getting hired.
It was good that he didn't make you keep reading.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, right? Jimmy was like, so anyway, so again, I moved from Hawaii. I had to move from Hawaii, from L.A. to Hawaii to back to New York, and I shoot The Sopranos. And I know Big Pussy since I'm 13.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you about that. He tells the story. If you watch
a podcast, The Sopranos, he tells the story about me, about how I knew him when I was 13. I used to go shake him down with my uncle from the club. He called me a bad man. And he said that I watched him on Talking Sopranos last week. He's like, can I tell the story about Louis? They're like, sure.
Yeah.
Because Louis' uncles and us used to shake us down. He owned the bar.
Yeah.
And that's how I know him. Since I'm 13, we used to party with him all night, and I used to shake him down. And he told the story the other day on the Talking Soprano podcast. I thought it was hysterical. I didn't care. I just thought it was funny. And then who would realize 30 years later I'm on a show with this guy?
Yeah,
being his partner on the show, full circle. and again, I was supposed to do 1 episode. I did the 13 or 12 or something like that.
Yeah, man.
So but the good thing was my buddy was one of the writers on that show, big writer, right? And he was like, Louis, they're going to offer you the cop role. Take the cop role, not the gangster role. Yes. And I was like, really? He goes, you'll have way more longevity than just being a gangster. And he was right, because after I did that cop role, about a year and a half after I did Sopranos, I get a call from the creator of 24. And the creator of 24 was like, hey, man, you play a cop on Sopranos. We loved you. We just watched the series. I want to put you on an episode of 24, playing the cop, the computer guy. And it was so opposite of me, because it was this quiet, big kind of there kind of guy, just sad and quiet and crying in every episode and really emotional. And he's like, I want to put you on. I was supposed to do 1 episode. I did 48, and we won an Emmy.
Yeah,
that's dope.
48 episodes, and we won an Emmy. Yeah. and they kept writing to me like they did Sopranos. That once you show up enthusiastic, like I did with Suicide King, I do it with every show, dude. I don't care if it's small or big. If I take that role, guess what? You're getting a fucking whirlwind. You're getting a hurricane.
Yeah.
You're getting me.
Oh, yeah.
You put 110 in.
Yep, I don't come in going, oh, well, I'm only getting paid this, or this movie's a small movie. I show up like Mike Tyson every fucking
Okay.
time.
Hell yeah, bro. That's how it should be
You
done,
know?
man. Yeah, that's the right way to do it, and that's why you're successful.
Well, thanks, man. And that's what happened with 24. And then 24, when the guy told me to take the cop role, was right, because they put me as a cop on 24, and that really made my career as well.
Yeah,
you know, so
yeah,
because you got booked as a cop from being seen in The Sopranos. So if you just did a regular gangster film, you would have just kind of
been typecasted,
stuck into that gangster role genre.
And if you watch my career, out of all the movies and TV series I've done, I've only played a gangster 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. And Louis,
my whole career. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that you told me that a while back when I talked to you, and you were giving me some advice, because I was like, yo, I want to get into acting and stuff. And you were like, yo, don't typecast yourself. Do everything. Be diverse. You know, just don't be a tough guy. Be everybody.
Right. Be the store owner, I told you.
Yeah.
Be the neighbor. Be the friend.
You're right.
Don't always, because I got dudes now that call me and go, oh, they're making a new Soprano thing. I want to be a Soprano guy. I go, but you have other stuff you can do. Why are you so aggressive to play the gangster?
Well, it's a fantasy for a lot of people. Yeah. That's what probably
why. Yeah, and I'm like, well, you could play like the neighbor and be on a show for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Being a regular person where you can work afterward. You know, there's always a life after, correct?
Yeah, of course.
And what do you do after that job? That's a prominent job. See, I'm very fortunate. Sopranos, after that, I did 24, which is a massive show. We won an Emmy.
Yeah.
And after that, I played Rob Schneider's best friend in The Animal.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I play a cop in that, playing his goofy best friend.
Yeah.
You know, so my career kind of stretched. And as an Italian-American big guy from the Bronx, I'm extremely proud to not play a gangster in any movies or every movie I do.
Yeah.
And it's not a knock toward anyone doing that. It's not. But as me, I'm so proud to play, you know, the neighbor, the friend, or, you know, like even now I play the pizza guy on the Rock show, which is funny. You know, I like the career, my career trajectory went that way.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? Yeah. And again, I'm not knocking anybody's, man. Everybody's great at what they do in these roles and the gangs and stuff. I love and I respect all these guys that work and get these jobs. You know, it's nothing against them, but my focus, you know, and I tell people, when you go into auditions, what you see in your mind is what people see in that room. So if you go in sucking on a toothpick, going, yeah, yo, goomba, they're gonna see that. Yeah. But if you walk in presenting yourself as an unknown, going, what is he going to say? What is he going to look at? And you're not a gangster, you know, it's kind of like a bigger step for your career. It kind of lets people, your mind dictates who you are. That's what I believe. And I never walked in being a gangster in any of these auditions.
Yeah.
I'd always walk in smiling, making friends immediately. Like I did on the streets, I'd walk into a room with 10 producers and just make a joke about pizza or something that had nothing to do with anything. Just become friends. Like immediately befriend people, make them laugh. Let me tell you something. That's how I got my first 30 movies. I'd walk in, the audition was irrelevant. I'd walk in and start talking to people like I was like just smiling and friendly, like, you know, because again, I told you, I used to love being around people, like, you know, like, well, then I'd leave and I'd be on my own. But I didn't mind going into a room and being friendly with people like I did on the street. But then I would go home and be alone, you know, and I don't mind that. I still do it. But when I was first in Hollywood, you know, you go into rooms with 10 people, immediately you grab these people by your personality. Your audition's secondary. If people laugh with you and smile with you in a room for 5 minutes, you've made more headway than most actors that go in serious about the role.
Yeah, that's smart too.
And that's what you do. You befriend people. You make people go, oh, that guy's funny. Oh, shit. That's how I got most of my jobs, believe it or not. You know, most of my jobs came from that kind of vibe in the room, where I'd walk in and just say a joke or say something funny, you know?
I was like, oh, I like that guy.
Yeah, he's
for some reason.
He has a good personality.
Yeah,
you're not going into the room like, yo, I'm a tough guy from the Bronx. And,
right.
You know, again, you're not going to typecast yourself. You're going to be diverse and show different, that you have creativity, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Right, and that's what I tell people. My biggest acting school is my personality. You know, I could talk to anyone from kids to old, young, women. It don't matter what race, creed, color, age, gender. I get along with every person. You know, I literally can go into rooms with kids and have the best time, or women or guys, street dudes to Hollywood. You know, I get along with, like I said, I can adapt quickly.
Yeah.
You know,
that's smart though. That's the best way to be.
Yeah. And that was my initiation to Hollywood, was being able to go, you know, like I said, just make people smile and like you, and then before you know it, you're in a movie. You're in a movie. You're at a party. You're busting balls with people in at parties. And I used to hang out with massive people when I first got out here, you know, these house parties and shit and clubs. So I would go out with them, and they'd be directors that were just starting. And before you know it, you want to be in my movie? Sure. You want to be in my movie? Sure. Kind of like the NYU thing did.
Yeah.
But when I got to LA, it became movies, like Bryan Singer. I did Usual Suspects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I did like a lot of movies by being friends with people, going, "Hey, want to be in my movie?" Yeah, and you're out at a party, you're making them laugh, you're having fun, you're partying, and then the next week you're in their movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of
networking
from that as well. Networking but making people like you, not making people not before, but if you're genuine and people like you in general, you have a way better shot than the next person.
I agree.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm very blessed. I've had a great career. I have a great, great life. I have a better life than I have a career. You know, no one gets that. People put too much into their career, and they don't enjoy the life.
Right.
My life, my career is secondary to my life. You know, I love my life. I love my life. I love it. Like people go, "Oh, are you always happy?" Because I'm not dead or in jail.
Yeah, man.
They don't understand. They don't understand my backstory. I could be dead, or I could be doing 30 years with the rest of my friends and family.
You're living your dream.
I'm living a dream, dude. A kid with no education, nothing, made a massive, beautiful career, and I even my daughter's like, "You're always happy." I'm like, "I could be dead or in jail." I tell it straight out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's so it's like, well, I could be sitting in a cell, sitting in my trailer in Hawaii or Australia, playing with The Rock and fucking Malcolm McDowell. You know, So when you start getting perspective, life is more important than anything, than your career. You know, your family is more important than anything. Your daughter, your kids. I don't know if you guys have kids, but when you start to get, especially as you get older, you start to realize money isn't everything. Fancy shit isn't everything. You know, everything is just irrelevant. You be happy with life, and you just keep moving forward. Money comes, money goes.
Yeah.
Friends come, friends go. But the people that are with you till the day you die are your kids, your mom, and very few family. Right or wrong? I don't know if you guys feel that way.
I do.
But to me, it's like, I have such a small circle, like it's crazy, and as you get older, like I said, you start to realize money isn't everything. Materialistic shit isn't everything. Unless that's your personality, which I kind of find repulsive with people who have hundreds of millions and they won't help anyone, they won't feed anyone, they won't do anything for anyone because they're scumbags.
Yeah.
So many people are sad. It's sad. It's sad.
So many, dude. So many that I know out here that have 200 million that won't give you $1. That won't give you a piece of pizza. You go out for a pizza, they're like, I'm not even bullshitting, dude. No, seriously. You go out for pizza with them,
cheese,
they go,
no
let me have
toppings.
Right? No, and then they're like, then the bill comes, it's $19. They're like, oh, you had the sausage on yours, it's $9 more. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I swear to God, dude, and I don't take anything from anyone, but if you're worth $200 million and you say, hey, you want to come for pizza, and then you're breaking up a bill for $22, $25,
oh my God,
you have a serious mental issue, right?
Worst, yes.
And can I tell you how many people I've been? Let me tell you something. Some of them are the biggest creators in TV. If I told you their names, you'd be like, no fucking way. I'd be like, yes fucking way. Yes fucking way. Some of them are, yep. And then most of them are fucking just, that's the way they zip through life. But they'll post on their Instagram, look at my new house, look at my new car, look at my new Louis Vuitton hat. And you're going, okay, you're a scumbag.
Yeah, you can't pick up the tab.
I couldn't have sausage on my pizza.
Yeah. And it ain't even like you're expecting people to pick up stuff, but if someone's telling you, yo, you come out, I want to take you to this pizza place, you're like, sure, that sounds fun. And the bill is $30, and you're inviting me, and you're telling me this is your place, and you don't say, well, I got this, it's $30. I'm worth $200 million. And you're going, well, let's split this bill. Give me $10. I'm like, I'm not even kidding. I know. It's incredible.
I've heard the stories about professional athletes, working in the nightlife business, as me and him both have, and the same thing goes with professional athletes. They come into the club, they get these huge tabs, they don't even leave a fucking tip.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Or
It's
the cards get
disgusting.
declined. They already got the early hold with a couple thousand and ones.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, right. But that's the same thing, right? So so let me tell you something. That's why, like I said, as I get older, certain things mean less and certain things mean more. I'm not really about the money at the moment. I mean, don't get me wrong. Do I want money? Yeah. Do I want to buy my daughter a house? Of course. Do I want to fucking travel over the world and go to Italy and eat pizza? Of course. But do I kill myself if I don't? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Everything. I've had money. I've not had money. I've been on the Emmy stage. I won an Emmy. I've been on stages where you're not even relevant anymore.
Yeah.
And I tell my daughter, okay, how you are when you're broke, how you are when you're great, and how you are when you're broke again should all be one level line. It shouldn't be massive ups, massive downs, massive ups. You make $1 million, you keep going that straight line. You lose that $1 million, keeps driving that straight line. You get that $1 million back, keep driving that line. Make it a level line, not crazy sporadic ups and downs.
Yeah.
So that's what drives you crazy. Oh, I made $1 million. I'm going to buy this. Oh, I lost it all. Then you miss it. I just keep going straight. And everything that comes in goes. And you know what? I've been to Japan, London, Australia, fucking Jamaica. I've been everywhere, and I've had a great life. And I'm always even keel.
That's the best
I'm
way to
always
be.
even. I don't go. I get a great job. Like even my girlfriend's like, "Oh, you just got this great stuff happening. You don't even get excited." I'm like, because it could end or it could be great, and the money's not going to change me. The only thing it's going to do is make me live better. I'm not going to go, hey, I'm this guy now. No way. You'll always see me with my sweatpants eating pizza, whether I'm worth $500 million or whether I'm worth $2.
That's
You'll
the
always be like,
realness.
oh, shit.
Yeah.
And you'll always be like, oh, shit, that's Louis,
Yeah.
and you'll always get what you see.
Yeah. Now, I know you've kind of strayed from being typecasted as the gangster role, the tough guy, but you were recently a writer, producer, and actor on the series Gravesend, which I enjoyed. I know me and Rob both watched it. You want to just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean that was a show that this kid Willie started putting together back a few years back, right? And he called me and he's like, "Hey, you want to help me? I want you to come on, be an executive producer and an actor on this thing. You know everybody, you know this." So I said, "Sure, man." He kind of wrote the show and he kind of put it together. He's a hustler, Willie. He's he's good at what he does, and the show ended up getting we shot 2 episodes. And we waited, and then he ended up breaking it up, making it 4 episodes, and he got it on Amazon. And, I kind of liked the idea of the show because it was back in the 80s, was like, like a Gotti era type early on Mob, when Mob was in its heyday, So I kind of liked doing it. I thought it was fun. It was colorful. It was creative. And he got it out there, So I'm hoping we get picked up and have more episodes.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Is it because it kind of ended like abruptly? And I was going to ask if there was any plans for more episodes.
Yeah, I think he's working on it now. I think he's working on getting them and getting it done. Which I can't wait to be a part of that again. It was a great experience. Yeah, it's just again, every job you get is a plus. It's a great experience, whether it goes or not. You learn.
Yeah.
You know what I wanted to ask, Louis? Is it different now with Amazon and Netflix and all the other TV kind of like apps or I guess divisions that they have now with like streaming and stuff? Is it easier like with that or more difficult than just having like regular on-air TV shows? Because now Amazon can pick up. Or...
Yeah, you've been on both, so you can elaborate.
Well, this is kind of sad to say, but television has become like the fast food business, where there's remember when we used to, I don't know how old you guys are, but there used to be 4 networks, 2, 4, 7, 11,
Yeah, 6, 10, 12, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe a few more, yeah.
Right. Now you have 200 channels. How do you really know what's on, like Amazon, Apple? It diluted the quality, in my eyes, of television. Even though there's some quality TV being made, it's hard to find.
Well, probably before we used to have to schedule it too. It wasn't a DVR or anything. You'd have to look at the TV guide or read the newspaper to find out when your show's coming on. And okay, every Tuesday at 7, we're gonna make sure we're home so I can watch this. And that definitely has changed.
Oh yeah,
it became. Go ahead.
No, I was going to
Buck.
say everyone just binge watches everything now. It's not.
Yeah,
like
I'll
it
sit
was
down.
before.
I watch this from start to finish 18 times.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Right. So to me, and this is just me, I think it diluted the entertainment business. All these streamers, I think
agree.
it diluted the project.
Just
it
like the
diluted
music business.
quality. It's just like the music business,
Yeah.
100%. You know, it's like I don't know, and I'm a big movie guy. I used to go to how I really started in this business was I used to go to the movies as a kid twice a week by myself. I would go to the movie theaters at 5, 7, 10 years old alone. Up until recently, until they closed the theaters, I would go 3 times a week up until they closed the theaters because I bought the AMC pass.
Mm-hmm.
And you're allowed to go see 3 movies per week, every movie. And I would go to the movies. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 5, 7, like Rocky, Jaws, Night Fever, Scarface. These are the movies I would go to theaters and see when I was a kid. I didn't go to school. I would go to the movies.
Yeah.
Parkchester in the Bronx, all the Lowe's, all these theaters. I would just get on a train at fucking 7, 10 years old alone, dude, and take the trains around the Bronx and go to these theaters. This is how I started, like in the business. I was so fascinated
That's
as
dope.
a kid. And then I would watch like The Odd Couple in the 70s and The Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy. And these are shows that I was fascinated. I was Stephen Cannell shows in the 70s and the 80s. I would be fascinated. This is what got me into the business. But the movies were my life, like going to the movies. And like I said, up until like 8 months ago, I was going 3 nights a week. I would go Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and I would see every single movie that's out. The last 3 years, I would just go every night, and I love it. It's like and I would go alone. The movies would be empty. There would be no one there. I would just sit by myself, bring a sandwich, or late at night I would go and just get shit and just chill by myself, and it was my zone.
Yeah.
And I've done that since I'm a kid. So I've basically done it for like 45 years, and I never got bored of it. I still get butterflies when I go into the theaters, and that's my biggest heartbreak now is if theaters don't come back.
Yeah,
You know, because a lot of big stories can't be told on TV. I don't care how big your TV is at home. I don't care how big your TV is, your sound system. You're watching a movie like a unbelievably $200 million movie. I want to see that in theaters. I want to hear that sound. I want to get the seat shaking.
I agree.
You know, and that's always been my love is the movie theater. You know, and TV. I think TV today has gotten so diluted of who's a star, what they're making, how much stuff they're making. The quality is, even though they're making great quality TV shows, I mean, the quality is dropped in how much stuff there is. Does that make sense? Like,
it does.
Like in the, like 10, 15 years ago, everyone started making little movies because the cameras were so accessible. You could buy a fucking Canon. You could buy this. And it started flooding the movies, the independent, the horror movies. Everything became lower grade.
Oh yeah, horror is definitely
worst.
a tough genre. And I love horror, but it's a tough genre to find stuff that's good before I'm not like analyzing the movie too much. You know, and so that is basically like I think the state of the business today is kind of like a little diluted. Yeah, I agree.
It's a little diluted. Like like I said, I'm hoping the movies come back. That's my biggest hope.
The theaters aren't open at all.
No, I don't think so.
No.
And Louis, I think even before COVID, though, we were starting to lose some of that because with all the streaming services, kids just not really going out anymore. And also, not for nothing, but some movie theaters aren't too affordable either. They're kind of, especially
$50. You go with 2 people, it's $50.
Yeah, I mean, now if you're really into it, it's worth it. I mean, I've gone to movies by myself too. I think it's cool, like what you were talking about, and I think that's a cool experience and it's something you could do alone. You know what I'm saying? But how nowadays, I know people are so stuck on the social media, on the phones. Will they even take an hour or 2 of their time to even want to do that?
You're right. You're 100% right, dude. You're 1,000% right. Streamers destroyed it, and not only the streamers, but the expense of it. If you have 2 kids or a kid, and you and your wife and your kid go to a movie, it's $100. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You could put on a show on fucking Netflix for $15 a month, and you're right. You're 100% right. It was dying out a lot before COVID.
I think
because of the.
Go ahead. No. I was just going to say. I think it's like more. It's more going to the theater is more nostalgic. I mean, because we grew up, and you've been going 48 years. You smell the popcorn. It's always a concession based. You know what I mean? The stand you hit.
I love it. I mean, I think it's dope,
you used to go and rush to. You have to rush to watch the previews and shit.
Yeah, you know what, Louis?
Right. I'd be mad if I missed the preview.
Yeah, man.
You ruined the whole fucking movie.
But you know what, though? This COVID experience, I think, is going to make some people appreciate being able to do things like that. Just like for me, being a musician and an artist, going to shows, I think it's the same thing with going to the movies now. And then, honestly, like, I want to, now that we're talking about it, I'm actually, if movie theaters open back up, I'm going, you know, just because we're talking about it.
Right. And guys, you know what I found was AMC has a movie pass. It's listen to me, $23 a month. You heard what I said? A month. And you can see 3 movies per week. I mean, it don't matter. IMAX, opening movies, it doesn't matter. 3 movies open a week. So you could see those 3 movies per week. It don't matter IMAX, it don't matter what quality it is. Every movie in AMC theaters for the month, you get to see 3 movies per week for $23 a month.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah, that's worth it. That's a good deal.
Dude. Yeah. That's insane, and that's what made me even get more into it.
Now, is that because theaters are closed?
No, this was like before COVID.
Oh yeah,
This was like the way. Yeah, they were kind of doing like the Netflix is.
Mm-hmm. It's more cost effective.
Yes, and they realized the reason they made money, they were making money, is because most people go to the movies maybe once a month.
Right.
I'm lucky because I have a lot of free time, so I can go 3 days a week, and I was killing them. They must have hated me, you know. And you want to know the best part is, dude? I'd go next door to the Ralph's and I'd buy the candy for $1.
Yo, that's what my mother made us do when I was a kid.
I get along with your mom because I still do it, dude. And my daughter's like, "Oh, you're cheap." I'm like, "I don't get
I used to say the same shit. Like, yo, why can't I get candy from the movie theater? She's like, it's too expensive.
You used to make popcorn, put it in the sandwich bags.
I bring chips in, fucking all kinds of sandwiches.
Yeah, because it's $17, dude. When you get a job, then you can bring your own. Then you can buy your own shit at that concession. But I still do it, dude. I buy chips, I buy shit, I put it in the bag, and I'll sit in the theater when it's empty, and I'll just eat, and I'll just sit there. You'll be like, look at this homeless dude snuck into the movie.
Oh man!
And ask me if I give a fuck.
No, man, that's great, man. That's classic.
So I was getting the movies, 3, 6, 9, 12 movies a month, all top movies that came out at AMC for $23 a month, and I would go spend $5 a night just getting shit and eating and going into the movie. So, I mean, I don't know. I just love the movie theater experience. I hope it comes back, like you said, and you know, and if it does, it does. You know, and that would be it. But the streaming services, I think, are diluting the business. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Louis, what's your most, maybe funniest or most memorable moment during your acting career?
What do you mean, like role wise?
No, any story or something.
Dude, I did Natural Born Killers. My first movie wasn't even in Hollywood. I got hired by Oliver Stone. I met him once. I did that movie amongst friends. He loved me in it. He goes, "I'm going to write you in my next movie." And he was an idol of mine growing up. And I was like, whoa. Like, I was more of an Oliver Stone guy than the Scorsese or Coppola guy.
Okay.
I love Oliver Stone. I love his
Killers
movies.
Is a classic.
Oh, yeah, amazing movie.
And so I got out here from Sundance. I drove out back to L.A. My first week in L.A., I meet Oliver Stone. He's like, "Yo, man, I love your look. I'm going to put you in my next movie." No union card, nothing. 6 months later, I get a plane ticket from Oliver Stone going to Chicago. And who am I hanging out with every single day and night? Robert Downey Jr., Woody Harrelson, Tommy Lee.
Wow.
And they would have massive parties. Like Peter Gabriel would come to Downey's room and play piano.
That's crazy.
And Claudia Schiffer and all the model friends. This is in 1993, dude, when shit was hot. They would come and hang out and party with us. Juliette Lewis, we had sickest parties, and I stayed with Downey for 2 months every night. I became his buddy.
Really?
And he would have dudes coming in the room. It was like being in a movie, just hanging out with him.
Wow, you could have filmed that.
Probably not.
And you want to know what the best part is? We had to shoot in the Joliet prison, which was a real life prison at the time. Sickest prison in the country. There was a roundhouse, and all the convicts were real.
Really?
They were all fucking real deal. Yeah, they used the extras. They were convicts. They were murderers, and I ended up getting along with them. And one of the dudes that this is no bullshit. So I'm in this prison now working. I play the deputy, Tommy Lee Jones's deputy in the prison. I'm on the back of the box. It's my first movie, not even in the union. Oliver Stone basically paid my union card to get in, and it was amazing. So I ended up hanging out with these guys every night, partying every night, getting in limos, going to clubs. Like this, they wrote a book on the making of the movie. Wow. That's how big the making of the movie was.
Wow.
Oh God, it's sad. Like hanging out with Downey every day was like, and Oliver and this, but Downey was like my buddy. He became like my buddy. Like he just took me everywhere, and those experiences are you can't even imagine. If you read the book, you'll understand everything in that book is true.
I might have to check that out for sure.
And dude, it's called. Oh man, I forgot the name, but the producers wrote the book based on like on the experiences of making the movie, dude. The making of the movie was insane. So it's kind of funny because now I'm in the prison with all these real convicts. John Wayne Gacy was there. Remember that John Wayne Gacy killer?
Yeah.
And dude,
like a clown.
Yes, and I'd be in all these convict cells hanging out with them, right? Because they just liked me. They must have sensed my vibe, and I'd be in the cells with them, and they'd be like, "Hey, look at John Wayne Gacy made me," and he was making these little fucking art. Dude, painted little macabre art, like little 3D art of people sitting in chairs with heads off. It was insane. And they were buying these things from him. The prisoners were like buying his stuff from him. And he made these art. So now I ended up getting, there was this black guy who ran the Joliet, right? He was like, he came from like, I think like one of those groups, like maybe the Black Guerrilla Family or one of these like the DC Blacks, like one of these big organized crime groups, right? And he was we ended up becoming friends, he and I, right? And he was my guy. Like, so in the prison scenes, I would always have him as an extra on my arm. Come on, like roughing him up. This guy was a badass motherfucker, dude. He would walk down the center of the prison, and everyone would just back away. And I became like his buddy for months. And his name was Aku, right? So one day we're in a cell. He's like, he used to call me Brother Louis, right? Brother Louis, you're one of us here. You do whatever you want in this prison. Like I was in the Bronx. But it was basically that. I was in cells, smuggling weed out of the prison, dude. I smuggled weed. I had to put it in my hat. I was like, man, I wish I had a joint. He's like, here you go, brother. These are guys in prison giving me weed, dude. I'm like, so the first couple of weeks I start talking to him, and I go, yeah, something about Lewisburg, right? Small world, bro. I go, something about Lewisburg. He's like, Lewisburg? Who said? I go, yeah. I go, my grandfather's day. He's been in forever. This is 93. So I go, yeah, I mentioned my grandfather's name, right? And he's like, wait a second. Is that your grandfather? I go, yeah. Like, I thought he was fucking with me. He goes, oh, my God, that's one of my guys.
Oh, shit.
I go, are you serious? He's like, Brother Louis, you're one of us. And from that moment on, I had the run of this prison, dude.
Wow.
Where, like, not in a negative way, where everywhere I went, people would just, Louis, what do you want? What do you need? Like, I fit right in with them. And he was like, yo, this is our brother. Nothing happens to him in this prison. No, none. And he set everyone down the line. And these big dudes were like, whatever you need. Just walking me around in and out of cells. Oliver's like, what are you doing? I'm like, these are my friends. Meanwhile, dude.
Just leave me here. Come back tomorrow. I'll stay with them.
Meanwhile, these guys were stone killers, dude. Like, killers of like 20 people, mass drug dealers. And I literally bound with them. And that Aku guy. And I ended up writing to him a few times. And I didn't realize the guy owned like 10 car dealerships. Like, the guy was a wealthy dude, but one of the, like the head of one of those, massive, like, organizations. Yeah, dude. He found out who my grandfather was. And I got along with him first to begin with. Again, my personality was just like, yo, we just laughed and bonded together. And then about a week later, he found out, about who I was, like my family kind of was and shit and kind of in that world. And he freaked out and knew him and was away with them. And before you knew it, that to me was a great experience doing that Nacho Bone Killers.
Yeah.
And, and then working with Downey every night and going back to his suite when we left our thing and him like having Peter Gabriel come in as we're partying, and him playing piano. And I'm like, who's this?
Right.
And I'm like, having Claudia Schiffer and like all those bottles coming in, just partying all over the room every night and just everyone, not just him, but that's the tip of the iceberg.
And
like
early
everyone.
Fucking party time, dude.
Yeah, way different.
Yeah, dude. So I would say Nacho Bone Killers, my initiation into Hollywood, was one of my most memorable and craziest and experiences I've ever had. And not just in the business, but in Hollywood and outside of Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a legendary experience you had there.
93 hanging out with Downey Jr.
It's interesting how you guys, too, filmed in the actual prison. How long were you in the prison for doing that?
3 months.
Wow.
The whole summer. I was in Chicago the whole summer.
Wow.
And you got to remember, I'm a kid from the Bronx. I never did any movies. That was my first movie.
Yeah, no card. You said nothing. Just
they got you in the can, fucking.
Yeah.
But you adapted though, man. You made, you already had a connection. You didn't even realize.
Yeah, it'd be easier probably for you, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, it turned out to be great. I would go into prison cells and I'd be so hungover from hanging out with Downey. We would go straight. We would be out all night, and I would go straight to the prison. It was 100 degrees in the prison, and I would go sit in the cells on the beds. They'd be like, "Relax, brother Louis," and I'd be like, "Okay." I'd be like on the fucking sleeping on the cells. And they'd be like, "You want the cell shutter open?" I'd be like, "Keep it open." I gotta get the fuck out of here. They'd be like, "You want privacy?" They would, pull the curtain in the cell for me. I'd be like, "Yo, dude." And they would pull up they would pull the liquor out of the toilet bowl. You want a drink? I'd be like, no, I'm good, Yeah. No, but this is not even exaggerating. This is what happened for 3 months. And before you know, I was like on the couch in my house, like on their beds in their cells,
Yeah.
And then you realize, like when you're talking to them, how important and how meaningful those sitting on their bed is or standing in their room.
Yeah, the
like
smallest thing.
They don't want anyone sitting on their shit.
Yeah.
They don't want anyone standing in their cells. And with me, they were like, lay down, relax, whatever you want, So Aku ended up setting the prison straight with me. And, man, they took me like a family, even in the prison. And it was the hardest prison I've ever seen, dude. They had the only roundhouse that was left in the country with a tower where they shoot the people if you're getting out of line. Dude, it was the sick. Let me tell you something. That scared me straight. After I left there, I was like, I don't want to do anything wrong again.
Hell no. Yeah, no, that'll do
Ever.
it.
I don't give a fuck how tough you are or who you know. I would never want to end up in this place.
No.
That's all I kept saying.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because it was right at the time as all my buddies got arrested in 93. I'm in this prison going, holy fuck.
Right.
And it was awakening, dude. So, but anyway, I got treated great there. Downey treated me great on the outside. We went to clubs every night, restaurants, bars. We hung out with him. Literally was his sidekick for 3 months. And it was great, man. He was the sweetest, best person I've ever met, I've ever been around. And I'm so happy for his success that he made it again.
Great actor, too. Great actor.
Great actor, but a sweet, genuine guy to everyone. Didn't matter if you were an extra or fucking Tommy Lee Jones.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Yup. Lovable, great guy, and I'd love to see. I'm so happy for his rebound.
Yeah. He definitely overcame some adversity, and he's even more popular than ever now.
Oh yeah.
Yup, and he deserves it. He deserves it because he's a good person.
Yeah, he hit rock bottom and then came out of it, and
yup.
Yeah, now he's become Iron Man. One of the biggest, all the Avengers and all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yup, and his karma for being a good dude.
Hell yeah.
Came back to his life.
Well, that's good. I'm happy for him.
Louis, switching gears now into one of your other ventures. You want to talk about Lombardi's Foods?
Yeah, man. Lombardi's Foods is a company that I started at what I kind of think we're missing is bringing as the families being at the dinner table anymore.
Yeah.
So the model for the company is let's teach our kids to cook and let's bring families back to the dinner table. It's like a lost art. When I was a kid, we would sit around that dinner table every day, not just Sundays, but Monday,
night.
Tuesday, Wednesday. And we took in a lot of kids, like a lot of people I took in when I was younger. Like 2 of them were on death row. One just did 39 years. He just got out.
Wow.
I've had people live with us and feeding people my whole life. Yeah, grow up in the Bronx. It's like a lot of rough kids,
Right.
I took so many people in my house, me and my mom. We used to let people live with us, and a lot of them were kind of, bad kids on the outside, but in my house, they were the most respectful people ever. No one ever did anything. We had mass murderers live with us. Like I said, this one of my dudes who lived with us was like my brother. He was a hitman. We didn't even know it, and they came looking for him, and he got on death row in Broadway, and his dad was a rich guy from the Bronx, and just bailed him out, got him out, and he ended up getting off death row, and he did 39 years or something. Wow. And he got out like a year ago, they said. But these are people that we've always cooked for, sat around that dinner table with, all these wayward kids and my friends from the Bronx, my brother's friends, and my mother would cook for everyone. So I always had that table as a camaraderie.
Yeah.
That was always the meeting place. No matter funerals, parties, birthdays, just regular dinners, we always sat around that dinner table, busted balls, ate and laughed. And that's what I'm trying to bring back with my food line. You know, the food line is as important as what I'm serving, but as the meaning of the line. You know, I want to bring families back to the dinner table. I want to teach our kids to cook again, and that's the goal for the company. So we're launching frozen pizza line on QVC hopefully soon. You know, and gravies and olive oils and stuff like that. You know, it's a big endeavor, but it's totally worth it. It's a passion of mine that I think I can really thrive in, like I did in Hollywood for 30, 40 years. I think I could do the same thing with this food line, and I have no doubt. And people are already believing in it and following it, and they love the logo, the motto of, you know, bringing families back to the dinner table. And so that's the goal for the food line, and it's a passion of mine because I cook every night.
Yeah, you grew up cooking. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, and I still do.
Yeah.
I still cook every single night at my house. I've always have. And when I had that big house in Santa Monica, I told you everybody used to come over, right? This is 93. Everybody would come over, like Michael Rappaport, the House of Pain dudes, like Leonardo. And I would cook for all these dudes before everybody was famous. I have videos of it from my VHS camera. I used to video it all. No, we used to have, so I used to teach all these guys how to cook.
Just put that on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I should, right? Now I should put them.
Make a YouTube channel. That'd be dope.
But it was back in those days, and I would still teach everyone how to cook when I first got out here. And now I teach my daughter how to cook every night. We sit in the kitchen and we cook, and I enjoy it more than going out.
Yeah. Well, the food's better too. I mean, there's some great restaurants. Don't get me wrong, but I think that home cooked meal. There's nothing like a home cooked meal.
Yeah, I love being. Like I said, I love being home, and I love cooking, and I love the creative part of being in the kitchen. It's like acting. It's being creative. It's being creative. You're putting this, you're making this, you're doing that. I don't know. I'm a creative person. I'm always writing or reading. I don't really watch much television, to be honest. I don't watch much television anymore. My girlfriend makes me watch shows, and I enjoy a lot of that she makes me watch. But I sit home and I read and write all night. I read and write. I've written 30 scripts, dude.
Really?
I've written 15 TV shows, and they're all about to start going out. Once I sell this first one, I'll be able to go out and do the next. And the next, and the next, and that's what my next career trajectory is.
Louis,
to do writing and directing.
What's your favorite thing to cook? Just to touch back on the food for a second.
Oh man, I love making. Honestly, I love making pizzas. I make my own dough
so much,
and I make my own doughs. I use different flours. People go, what? Even pizza makers are like, how the fuck did you? What do you like? Even guys from Italy, when I go to a place, they're like, holy shit! Like I use different yeast. I'll have a yeast, like a live yeast, a thing. I'll have 00 flour, regular flour. I make 40 different kinds of pizzas. Like I'll make pizzas with like I don't know. Just if you go down a list, like Southern fried chicken pizza, shrimp scampi pizza, chicken marsala pizza.
Yes.
Like I don't just make. I make chicken Caesar salad pizzas.
Amazing.
Like I make soap. Like to me, I call pizza a crust is an edible dish. Whatever you can put on a dish, you can put on a pizza crust.
Well, that's a good idea.
That's a great way to look at it. That's a fucking great way to look at it.
And I make so many crazy things on pizzas. People are like, where did you come up with this? And I just think, like, again, it's a dish. You could make a pasta, put it on a dish. You can make, Caesar salad. I fucking make the chicken cutlets, put the mozzarella and the garlic on the crust, no sauce, and then when it's cooked and you got the chicken cutlet with the melted cheese and the garlic on top, then I mix the Caesar salad and I put it right on top, dude.
Yeah,
it's
sounds
insane.
Sounds
it's incredible, you know?
Oh,
yeah, dude, like just stuff like that. Like chicken marsala pizza is my favorite. I'll make a chicken marsala, chicken franchise.
Oh,
and
man.
I'll put it on a crust and I'll bake it with provolone. I'll use different cheeses. Yeah. I make my own fucking doughs. Yeah, I make doughs. I keep them in my freezer. And I play. I always experiment. It's always different to me, you know?
Mm-hmm. You make the dough from scratch, Louis?
I make the dough from scratch from 3 different kinds of flour I have. I use either 00. I use the one from certain pizzerias. I go to them and they'll give it to me. You know, I use like different tomato sauce. I use Cento. I just use different things on everything, you know? Like I said, you just create. You get in there and you play, you know? Like I've made pizzas. People are like, where the fuck did you come up with this? Even pizza guys.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just about being creative. It's like being an actor. You go in, you improvise, you make a pizza, you improvise.
Look, that's a culinary, very creative, very creative.
Yeah.
And I actually make my own sushi. Like I get my daughter how to roll sushi.
Yeah.
Like I'll go buy fish. I'll roll my own sushi. I'll make I'll make everything, dude. I'll make veggie stuff. I make soups. I make everything. There's no. I'm not like one of those. I make my own enchiladas, my own Mexican food. Like there's not like I'm not just like an Italian cook. Like I'll make everything. Like I'll sit here and make anything. Like I said, from sushi to Mexican food to whatever, you know. Yeah. And I love it.
It sounds like you're diverse with that, just like you are with your acting.
Yes, exactly. But exactly, I didn't even think of that. But yeah, 100%. You know, and you always try to keep your mind open to stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
and what's let me give you an example. What's the worst that can happen? You make something you don't like it. Guess what? You never make it again.
You're still gonna eat it.
Yeah, I am. You bet your motherfucking ass. My girlfriend and daughter go, "Oh, you can throw it out." Yeah, I go, "Nope." And they're like, "You're so cheap, you won't throw it out." I go, "No, what am I going to do? Just throw shit in the garbage? You know, you eat it, then you never make it again."
You can't throw food away.
No, fuck that, dude. I'll kill you if I throw that.
Louis, I got to ask you, Louis, what in your opinion, what's the best pizza in New York City?
Man, it's hard to say. It really is. And growing up, I used to go to John's of Bleecker, and then they had one on 72nd. That was one of my favorites. Like pizzas like that growing up. I used to go to John's all the time. Okay? But growing up in my neighborhood, bro, there's pizzerias, 10 of them, 50 of them that have been there for 50 for 50 fucking years, dude. 50 years these places have been, and they're all thriving still.
Yeah,
so,
pizza never goes out of style.
You know, and it's a matter, to me, even bad pizza's okay.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad pizza.
Yeah, you know, I love when people get all pretentious. Oh, I won't eat that. I won't. Go fuck yourself. Really, there's gravy. There's three. If you look at pizza, there's three components. There's dough, gravy, and cheese, dude. I mean, how bad can each component? I mean, I'm not saying everything is great, but for you to be a snob and go, "This is terrible, I'll never push it away," is a joke, dude. You know, I'm a very open-minded person. I like Chicago pizza. I love deep dish pizza. You know, I love to try. I love the buffalo pizza where they cut them in little things.
Amazing.
And even the Chicago, I've been to Chicago a ton of times. They make a thin crust pizza. It's delicious. They make a great Chicago pizza. Not every Chicago pizza is a thick crust, you know. Yeah. And like I said, I was in Australia. I went to an Italian place for pizza. It was great, comparable to any New York pizzeria.
Really?
It was called but it was everything was from Italy. The flour, the dough, the gravy. It was delicious. So, you know, like I said, man, New York. There are some great pizzerias. I mean, mom and pops are great. You know, the bigger ones are great. I used to eat at Patsy's when I was fucking 13. I used to play football in Harlem on 116th Street. Yep. Yeah, I grew up there. I used to go there when I was 13, 14. Growing up in Harlem, I would eat there all the time, you know, Patsy's. But, you know, but like I said, John's of Bleecker was one of my favorites to go to, like kind of leaving the Bronx and going to the city. John's of Bleecker was great. John's of Bleecker, they used to have the sausage rolls. I mean, that place was one of my favorites growing up. And then, obviously, Lombardi's. I don't know if you've ever been to Lombardi's.
I have. Yeah, once.
Lombardi's is great. They make that clam pizza.
Yeah. I didn't have the clam pizza. I heard a lot of people rave about it, though.
Yeah, and I know the owner, John. He's a good guy, you know.
Any relation? Any family relation there?
Well, his name is not Lombardi. He bought
okay.
Yeah. And but I think going back it might have been. But like I said, Lombardi's is great. John's of Bleecker was great, and almost every place in my neighborhood, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just go to one place growing up. And the reason I really got a lot of knowledge from these places growing up, like I had a buddy who made 50 different kinds of pizzas. We'd go to his place, and he would make me every week for football, send me boxes of stuff to my house, you know. And I would have all my buddies over growing up, and we're in the Bronx, and you know, this guy was a master at making 100 different kinds of pizzas. Wow. And I think I got a lot of inspiration from him, you know, growing up.
Fucking
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm fucking starving now.
Would you? Now, I've heard that the pizza and Italian food in California is not that great, or you got to drive really far to find some good stuff. Is that true? And would you open up your own restaurant? I know it's tough now with COVID, but.
Oh yes, I will definitely open up. I'm working on opening up a chain of pizzerias now.
Oh, really?
I want to open up a whole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Dope.
I'm working on that now. And there, let me tell you something. There are some great pizza places in California. I've been where I live. There's a place called Desano's. The best pizza, not just in LA, but probably in New York. Everything again is from Italy. The place you go in, there's big tables. Everything is from Italy. They got the ovens that are from Italy that are burning wood. 5 of them. It's like a real Italian places, you know.
Yeah.
There are some great pizza places in LA as well.
So
that's why when people say that, I'm like, no, there's great pizza places everywhere, you know?
Yeah, you just
it's
dispelled
no
the
matter
myth.
where you trust.
Well, I live in Nevada I lived in Vegas for 4 years, and there was shit for pizza.
Yeah, you said that, so that's another reason
that was,
why.
That
why
was
I asked.
because it was only one place that was good, but because they brought their water in. I guess something about the pH with the water because they get it from the dam, the Hoover Dam or whatever.
Yeah.
And something about because it's the desert, it fucks it up. I'm not sure. But he's like, we brought those.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this tastes like back home. He's like, oh, we bring our water from back home. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I don't believe that guy. That guy's probably full of shit trying to have a gimmick. You know how much that would be? His pizza would be $90 a slice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, you know another place that I like? It's kind of a franchise now, but it started in Brooklyn. The guy was I think the guy was a gangster.
Yeah.
Grimaldi's.
Okay.
I haven't heard about it.
Grimaldi's about
pizza. Well, he opened up a franchise. There's like 10 of them in LA and Vegas and everywhere else.
Yeah.
And it is fucking great, Grimaldi's.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
And if you go down by the Brooklyn Bridge, that's where the first one was. The guy's been around 100 years, and he ended up selling it. And then he opened up next door to the guy he sold to because they had a beef. And then the family's smart. They franchised this company, and there's a bunch of them. And I love it. I love it. But Desano's is like a real Italian kind of pizza place, you know. And yeah, again, pizza, you got to be a real asshole to make terrible pizza, you know? Am I right?
Yeah, no, you just dispelled the myth, too, about L.A. and California. So if anyone's out there, check out, what is it, Desano's?
Desano's is great. Grimaldi's is a franchise, but people love it. They go there, they love it. Where else? I mean, there's like the Joe's is out here. Prince Street Pizza just opened. You know, there's a lot of New York places that came out here and
Yeah, that
did
makes
it,
sense.
you know?
Yeah, people travel from New York
and
to L.A.
And Joe's Pizza is great. Prince Street Pizza is great. You know, and then there's a place called Craig's. Craig's makes good pizza. You know, there's a lot of places that make great pizza out here, you know?
That's good to know, because I was like, yo, man, if we go out to L.A., it's going to be we have to just eat, like, Mexican food. But no, that's good to know.
Well, that you'll see on every corner.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just like pizza in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they used to sell them at the gas station, Roberto's it was called. I used to go there a lot. It was like a Mexican place in like all the gas stations. Like
the Mexican food?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense,
great.
though.
Fucking great.
Yeah,
let me tell you something. I love Mexican food.
Oh, me
I
too.
love it. Yeah, but I love all foods, you know. There's very few foods I don't like or I won't try, you know.
Me too.
Yeah, you try everything at least once, right?
Yeah, I tell my daughter that. If you don't like it, guess what? You don't eat it ever again.
Yeah.
But you might find something you love, and it might be your favorite.
Do you eat
know?
tripe, Louis?
You know, I did growing up, but I won't eat it now.
Yeah.
I tried it. I've eaten it a few times. My mother made it. Yeah. You know, the intestines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother was
making it.
Yeah,
To make like
I
that.
had it once. I didn't like it.
It's because it's dirty.
Yeah.
You got to clean and scrub the shit. And,
Yeah.
but the gravy's good.
Yeah, and then you dip it with the hot biscuits.
Yep.
Remember the biscuits in the Bronx, the fucking hard biscuit you buy? Oh, yeah, but again, I've eaten that a few times. Do I like it? Probably not. Would I ever eat it again? Probably not. Liver, my mother used to make all the time.
Liver and
I can't
onions?
stand-
Yeah, we used to eat
Oh,
liver too.
I
Liver and
couldn't
onions,
even-
yeah.
Gross.
the onions. Oh, gross. I couldn't, you know?
You know,
like,
you do
I
liver
don't
and
like-
onions pizza.
Liver and onions pizza.
Oh.
There you go. That's the new joint. That's the new joint for Lombardi's Foods. Liver and onions pizza.
Nice
I'll tell my daughter it's chicken.
Yeah.
I'll be like, it's chicken.
That's just veal.
Liver and onions calzone.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Oh, you
Packed it. Packed it. It was good. Like sharp provolone, dude.
Oh, but again, there's some you know, I do food tours when I go. I'm very lucky when I go to these cities. I'll go out and about and I'll explore and I'll eat whatever's local in their towns, like, you know, and I'll try things that they're special for, like certain areas. Like if you go to like the Chicago, if you go to like, you know, Buffalo, you know, certain things are popular, and I'll try a few places in those towns, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
definitely. When you go to you got to try the local cuisine wherever you're at. I mean, it makes sense.
Always, you know. Yeah. And let me tell you something. My buddy in Buffalo makes the wings, right? He makes these wings. Now, I like chicken wings. I'm not like a big chicken wing guy, right?
Cool.
So I go to my dude's place. His name is Dookie. He's JJ. He owns this bar called DBGB in Buffalo, right? I go to his place when we did a few movies there. So I made friends with this guy. He's a great guy. He's like a brother now, right? Big guy. I go to his place. He's like, Louis, you got to try these wings. I'm like, okay. Brings them out. Dude, addicting, right? Addicting. I'm like, and they're big and they're fucking. I go, what the? How do you make these? I guess he smokes them instead of fries them.
Oh, really?
And he puts them like you would have regular wings, but he smokes them. Bro, let me tell you something. I'm not even like a chicken wing guy. Like when I was in Buffalo, I tried certain places, you know, the Anchor Bar where they first started. And they're all like regular chicken.
Right.
This dude makes the best smoked chicken wings I've ever eaten in my life. And again, it's a unique thing. It wasn't the same old. He went out of his box on how he makes them, and they were incredible. You know, you don't just drop them in a fryer, drop them in butter and hot sauce, and there's your chicken wings.
Yeah.
Like this guy makes these, and again, it's something that I would never expected. So you try different places, like even different pieces of how they're made and what the crust is made of, and even Mexican food. You know, not everything Mexican is the same food. You know?
No, yeah. Absolutely.
So I explore and I'll try everything, and I'll go to unique, even if there's a small hole in the wall.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
I never heard of smoked. I never heard of smoked chicken wings.
Yeah,
bro. My God! Like I would go all the time and just go, give me a dozen. I would just eat them like nothing.
They fall off the bone too.
Really, that sounds good, man.
Well, Chef Wayne makes them.
I want to try those now. That sounds fucking good.
Yeah.
Dude, they're good.
Yeah, bro. It was crazy.
I like dry rub too.
Yeah, dry rubs.
I like. Yeah.
I love dry rub. I love dry rub ribs more than ribs with shit on them.
Me too.
Yeah,
they're easy to eat. You're not a fucking mess.
Yeah. That's true.
And you get a crispier texture to it. It's not soft and soggy.
No, it's like salty, crunchy. Yeah.
Oh, now I want to kill you guys. I'm starving.
Me too. Me too. When we're done with this, we're definitely gonna go eat something.
Well, that's fucking cool, guys. Yeah, man. Now you got me hungry. My girlfriend just makes tuna fish.
Oh man. All right, Louis, you want to give out your social media, your website, any contacts, the Lombardi's Foods website, or anything that you want to promote?
Yeah, you can go to my Instagram is Louis Lombardi, at Louis Lombardi. That's mine. My Lombardi's Foods is at Lombardi's Foods. That's my food page. My Instagram is Louis, and then my Facebook is Louis Lombardi. So it's all the same, I guess, you know. But definitely check it out. I do, check out the food stuff on my social media, because that's about to pop off, and I'm about to have a lot of fun with it. You know, my goal is to kind of feed kids and create these charities for kids who don't have food and shit. You know, kind of like I did growing up. I want to replicate that as I get older and kind of feed kids who don't have shit. You know,
that's a great
to me
cause.
The highlight.
That's a great cause.
Dude, that to me is real and it's important. It's not like I don't want anything from anything. I just want to be able to make a ton of money making that food company, and then bringing kids, like we're going to places and cooking for kids and bringing food and try to keep it going where we feed kids who don't have food. You know? Yeah,
get back to the community.
That's just what I'm going to do.
Yeah, well, that's a great thing, and we'll definitely support you and promote it, and everything else that you're doing. That was great. That was great, Louis, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks so much.
Amazing. We'll do a follow-up in a few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to have you back on once you get...
Now, you know what we'll do? I'll send you guys to 2 or 3 pizzerias.
Please.
And then you tell me if they suck or not.
Okay, do the reviews.
Yeah, we could do that.
We'll have a pizza fight.
We could do that. And I look forward. Actually, too, I'm going to remind you. Send me a link to that movie, that short film you did. I want to see that.
I definitely will. Don't pass it around because I don't have the rights to the music. I'll end up getting sued.
I won't. I got you, bro.
Awesome. But you'll see. You'll get a kick out of it, dude. Don't watch it with kids. I got it opens up with a porno star getting banged in the bathroom, and people sniffing coke and fucking shit happening. Peter Green going, wait till you see it. You're gonna laugh, dude. I'll text you the link.
All right, thank you, brother. That was great. Thank you. Louis Lombardi, everyone.
Follow me on Instagram.
Lombardi's Foods. Stay tuned.
Hell yeah. Louis, thanks again so much, brother.
Thank you, guys. Great talking. Good luck on all your stuff.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, Louis. Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye.
All right, peace.
Street Corner Soapbox. We're fucking out of here.
The Street Corner Soapbox.
If you're a fan of the podcast, you can help support the show by donating to our PayPal at paypal.me/Street Corner Soapbox.
That's right, guys. Make sure to like and share all of our episodes. And for easier access to our show, check out our link tree at linktr.ee/Street Corner Soapbox.